Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Tonight, the full-length Cup Challenge makes its way to the place people love to go to. It's Talladega Superspeedway. And tonight, Maconi Entertainment is happy to have you with us for all of our coverage for this evening's coverage of the Intimidator 500. 500 miles of racing from Dega here in Alabama. I'm Justin Prince alongside the booth tonight is Kirk Mills. Our producer this evening is Morgan Cook as we get set to go for Dega week. Talladega, the track opened since 1969, brings plenty of speed, Kirk, and people love to come here for good reason. Good racing, a very entertaining infield, but of course, lots at stake for points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I can tell you right now, that infield, if you ever get to go to the real one here in Talladega, all I can say is lawless. You get to see things you didn't know could be publicly available for free. Holy cow, it's quite the fun time on the boulevard if you ever get a chance to go. It's worth it, worth it, worth it. But tonight here on the sim, we got a bunch of these guys who are all lined up, ready to go. And I gotta say, Talladega, it's one of my favorite racetracks. I can't wait to see how it all goes down.
Of course, the points looked like this tonight. Sean Conklin still your points leader. That was after he looked like a shoo-in to get a win last time out. And then some drama with strategy in the end involving Dylan Basin, his teammate on older tires. Conklin got shuffled, and Vroom Vroom took the win to become the second multi-race winner of the season. They're 1-2 in the point standings entering tonight. Your cut line, Tower Hunter entering the evening. There's Vroom Vroom in particular in celebration. And right now, Nicholas Vroman looking to try and see if he can go back-to-back tonight. Try and add on to his 7 top 10s. That is higher than Conklin's total. Keep in mind, he's also been helping Team Conti lead the team standings between him and Black Flag going back and forth.
Yeah, this last week, Conti jumped the flag there, so there you go, up to the top of the boards there. Try and earn a little bit of extra money at the end of the season, depending on who wins. But I think we're getting ready for this starting lineup, don't you think?
Yeah, these drivers have a couple more minutes before they get rolling, couple seconds, if you will, as we have a jam-packed field of 43 starters ready to pursue victory here at Talladega Superspeedway. Who's going to get it done here in Alabama? We'll find out here in Lincoln. But the drivers finishing up their final procedures as they'll make their way onto the racetrack now for tonight's festivities. As look at this, it's Casey Graves who's on the pole tonight. He and Bobby Anderson 1 and 2. Remember, some of these drivers that you'll see up front were good at Daytona for comparison. Delaney and Hall, in turn, will start in the top 4. Then Evan Mesnard, one of his better starting spots this season in the top 5. Jason S. Taylor looking to try and shock the world again from 6th. Lucas Hoytsma is in a different paint scheme tonight. He'll start in 7th in the Strong Strides car. Starting alongside Paul Gallimore, who looks to have a good run tonight. Adam Benefiel starts off on the outside of Del Medeiros. Medeiros is in 9th. Benefiel is in 10th.
Starting at 11th tonight, Andrew Dyson alongside Ralph Hutchinson in the 19 car. Starting in 13th will be Bryce Reiner in the 25 alongside Dylan Basin in the 84. New paint scheme for him as well this week. Blake Kluot in the 14 alongside William Owens in 15th and 16th respectively. 17th tonight will be Tyler Hunter in the 48 car alongside Cody Porter in the 04 starting 18th. 19th tonight will be Chad Sander in the 24 alongside Paul Hill in the 26 car.
21st goes to Noah Hodgson tonight. Sean Conklin, well down the order, 22nd for his spot. 23rd goes to Tanner Marty. Johnny Avila makes the next start tonight. He'll start 24th. 25th goes to Way Hunter Truel, who will start in the 71. Dave Hoytsma, he'll start tonight in his Chevy. Then it's Kevin Soziak, the Ladybug, starting alongside Neil Pearson. Amongst those in the top 28, back 30 include Rich Kleiman, and then Corey Moore will start in 30th tonight.
All right, rounding out the rest of your field, Alan Duggar, Michael S. Tucker, 31st, 32nd. 33rd will be Brandon Hastings, won last night. Cliff Mullins in the 44, starting 34th. 35th, Jose Medina alongside Wesley Napier in the 52. And then Billy Brickley alongside June Salim. And 39th will be Stephen Williams and Raymond Root 40th, with our final 3 starters, Thomas Kulmacheski, Matthew David Wood, and finally 43rd tonight, Nicholas Vroman, last week's winner, starting dead last tonight. All right, boys. Man, I cannot wait to get this thing started, Justin. Coming through turns 3 and 4. Look at your stage limits. You can see it right there. Lap 98 for the first stage, a long first stage. We'll talk about that most of the time. 6 sets, 17X. Can't get in too many big ones. However, if you wreck here, it's normally pretty bad. So we'll see how it handles. Coming through turns 3 and 4. That pace car is going to go and get ready to get this thing started. Casey Graves with a great pole position today. Cool to see the 01 up front. Pace car is going to dive into the pit lane. Here we go from Talladega, baby. I am pumped. Here we go. Reach down, pull them belts tight one more time. Here we go again. You're going to see that restart zone. It's not in a normal spot. It's way down north towards turn 1. Here we go. Through that restart zone. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Through 3 and 4 for the first time, it's Graves who leads things off. He'll try and keep the bottom line moving with the help of Jonathan Delaney, Oliver's bumper. That is a teammate that gives him assistance and helps him on through. 3 wide in the middle of the field, by the way. Some of the drivers that are going to be having to find their way through it. That includes Jason S. Taylor, who had an EOL penalty here tonight. Nicholas Vroman amongst those saying, oh my goodness, you can tell it's a traffic jam right now.
Yeah, he started dead last, but guess what? He's already up almost into the top 20. That guy's on a mission. Look at him go. He's got a huge run, but he's about to get to a point where he cannot make any more passes. He's stuck right now. Is there a little bit of bobbing and weaving up front in the 5 car? Oh boy, 43 cars. Most of the pack's 3 wide. Oh, this is always scary.
It is, and keep in mind, with the updates recently to the iRacing package, they're trying to make it even more realistic to what you see on the racetrack these days. And keep in mind that it's impacted the draft package and also has made it that much more difficult to make your way forward. Surprised we're seeing 3 wide start up and stay up so quickly here tonight. It is similar to real life, though. Give that to credit. Keep in mind, though, with the long first stage. It's important to mention in real life, NASCAR is doing that, as they said, because of the matter of the fact people were fuel saving too aggressively in the first 2 stages when they were short. So they flipped the long stage to the start in real life. FLCC will be doing the same. And as a result, these drivers will have to think about potentially 1 or 2 pit stops here in stage number 1.
It changes everything, man. It really does. I'm hoping it makes things better. I really do. These stage cautions, you got to work with them no matter what until they change the rule one of these days. But for now, I mean, they're doing what they can. That outside line, by the way, has kind of started to get a little bit more of a run built up there. You see Ralph Hutchinson getting a shot from the back bumper with the 5-car, Bobby Anderson. They started outside pole. But now Conklin in front of them pulls out to the 3rd lane, tries to make the top side work, and it's only going to make that top line get a little bit more momentum towards the front.
Yes, indeed, and you see Conklin wanting to try to lead that outside line. Really checks up, though. Ralph Hutchinson over the bumper. By the way, as the sirens go off in the background, don't worry about that. Everybody is safe here tonight. Hopefully, these drivers don't have the police car get stolen tonight like that happened in the 1980s.
Yeah, the pace car got stolen. That was a fun moment, wasn't it?
Yes. In all seriousness, though, it's Lucas Hoytsma, who's really good at super speedways. Remember, part of those in contention for King of the Super Speedways Championship last season. He's got Benefield in the bumper. Now Benefield says, I'll take my shot to lead. I want to get some lead laps tonight.
Man, I love seeing this. You know, that 83 and that 97, both of them are fantastic super speedway racers. That 97 is able to win races, but right now he's getting put 3 wide in the middle. Paul Hill goes by him on both sides, being pushed by, I think that's Dave Hoytsma. Look out there. Father-son combo, nose to tail right now in that middle lane.
See how much that traffic's building up, but Hoytsma, how about that? Both of them now up in the front. It's Dave getting pushed by his son, Lucas, to the lead for a moment at least. Hasn't gotten the lead lap yet, but Billy Brinkley sure will. Remember, he's someone that's worked in the same realm as Sean Conklin, a couple other setup-wise over the course of this series. Now he's been set free to let Conklin take the lead with the help of the Black Flag machine on a similar base as well.
The moment that he had an opportunity to go to the top, he took it. Conklin's going to take the lead over that. Billy Brinkley will now lead that in that middle lane, and Paul Hill is making that bottom lane not as good right now. I mean, top lanes are starting to come in really good right now, but I'm sure it'll start switching up depending on how the runs go. But it always seems to even out.
To the inside line, what it looks like here for some of the drivers down there. Right now, Paul Hill is the one that leads that inside group so far. And one thing I'm noticing, these drivers carrying speeds of more than 190 miles an hour in the pack. We are running a little bit slower with the amount of cars we have in the main pack at the moment. Also, we're not having immediately getting the rear ends crushed in when pushing, especially for those with the Toyotas so far. Looks like that has been fixed here for tonight for structural integrity for when you get pushed from behind.
Just for now, it might change. You never know. Just got to give it time. Hopefully they did get that fixed. I really hope so. Uh-oh, Benefield got put in the middle. There's going to be a little bit of a wiggle on the bottom. That 11 car, Paul Gallimore's giving a heck of a shot. You see Tucker there giving him a bump down the back straightaway. But, man, I love this. Look at that. 3 wide all the way through the front half of the field. I love seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Several cars deep. A lot of people burping the throttle, and Conklin getting the help from a Conti car now to lead. It's going to be Benefield all over his bumper on the triple car tandem. Triple, if not quadruple car tandem, is looking very steady in this lead pack. Only one car, just one, is not in this Hornet's Nest, by the way. Maderos, who started the race on pit road, came out of pit road as they drove by the start and finish line. He is already at risk of being lapped with the next 10 laps. Well, before we even get to the end of the stage, and it's going to be trouble for him. Meanwhile, the others They're busy blocking the outside. Look at Brickley slowing up middle. Now it's another block. Lucas Hoitzma got covered off, and Conklin got ditched.
Man, it's just a chess match up front, deciding on where you need to go and when you need to go there. That 00 doesn't have too many friends, kind of left him out to dry. So he's now trying to work with the 58, who pushed him up to the front, trying to push that 58 back up towards the front.
See how much the shuffle continues about here as several more of the Ryko cars are moving up. Same moving up for Benefiel. It's pretty clear that Benefiel wants to make sure Conklin doesn't get led laps here. He's already gotten 3, by the way. But Benefiel now is on the board for that. How much does the team gamesmanship come into play a little bit, especially what we're seeing a majority of your top 10 have Ryko setup bases. We also have a couple of TWRS bases and, of course, the Conti base up at the front.
Well, you know, there's always been a rivalry between those guys, Team Conti Sim Performance, and then you also got the Ryko guys, or Ryko back. They kind of always going back and forth, trying to get the best setup of the week every single week. It seems to go back and forth. And I can tell you right now, those guys are trying to battle it up front, no doubt about it. Benefiel's the leading guy right now for Conti, and Conklin's the leading guy for Ryko, nose to tail right now at the very front of the field. As they've really scooted out a little bit to a gap compared to the rest of the field. And look at that 16 car. Oh my goodness, it's Matthew David Wood trying to go to the top to take third place away. It looks like he's going to do it for Billy Brickley there.
Yep, you see how much some of the defense is coming up as they move up. Now this is getting a bit more towards the real life. Because one of the things you'll see, yes, a lot of people in majority of the time racing on the platform, they like to run the bottom of the racetrack. That's where the safety area is. A place to be able to avoid incidents currently. In real life, though, it's the opposite. You love to run on the top, a lot of people do. And it's pretty clear that these people up at the top of the racetrack want to start seeing this field spread up and choo-choo train for a bit so they can start planning track position and fuel save.
Yeah, a lot of the folks on the top in the top 10 definitely do, but the moment you get towards Billy Brickley or Ralph Hutchinson, sorry, not Ralph, Lucas Hoitzma there, they want the bottom lanes to start catching back up because right now they're losing a lot of ground. Here we go. You see Cody Porter going down to the middle lane, and it's going to change the entire complexion of the front group there. No more top line riders. We got everybody choosing their own lane now.
Yeah, that completely decimated the top. They said, you know what? Team Ryko, you can stay up there. Benefiel, you can also stay there. Well, and Porter immediately lost help from his teammate. Avila drove by, and now it's Avila to the point. Inside line led by Michael Tucker, middle should say, because it's 4 wide with the lap traffic. That's Madero's moving out of the way. And everybody survives, no contact, as he let by everybody else, but will get swallowed by the pack at least.
Look at who's leading that middle lane right now up front. He started dead last. In 13 laps, he went all the way from the back to leading a line here at Talladega. It's just how quick things can change. Vroman goes from the back to the front after winning last week, getting a push from Billy Brickley right now.
Vroman indeed on the charge, now needs to get some help. He's got a little bit of a whip for draft with the drivers moving up for the Ryko line, so to speak, on the top with Basin now leading it. Now Basin gets the chance to lead some laps where Ralph Hutchinson gets some help from Hoitzma. It's black flag on the inside, it's Ryko on the outside. Then in the middle, it's a hodgepodge, a different team, so to speak. Interesting paint scheme tonight, by the way, on Dylan Basin. Different number scheme for tonight. Yes, that is a real sponsor. No, not fully sure of the context yet. Apparently, there is an approach going on, I believe, in terms of Ryko's side, that they're looking to get into the hobby and collectible business. Originally, got the notification social media-wise a few weeks ago of a Pokestop through Ryko, and now that's evolved into what's on the hood tonight for Dylan Basin. In our words, trying to add to the Ryko empire.
You know, oh my gosh, these blocks up front, just constantly going from line to line. I don't know how they're able to keep doing this without any risk to the cars getting turned around. It's just scary to see these bump drafts when they're doing it. That 95, man, he's all the way up to the lead now. But looking at the top 10 themselves, out of everyone in the top 10, there is not a single car that started in the top 10 that is still in the top 10.
Look though, some of the drivers are picking up damage. That's, I think, Duggar. Yeah, Duggar. With some of the pushes here, he was pushing Brickley for a while. I think he crushed in the nose trying to push Brickley too hard.
Yeah, that push not going to help, and that inside line might start to realize that. They might try to dump the 10 car out of the way. You don't want a car with a damaged front end leading the line. So now, oh my gosh, look at this. Tucker and Vroman going at it, side drafting for the lead.
Oh, how about that? From last to first for the 95.
And just 16 laps.
Well, all you can say is Vroom Vroom's got talent. Now, can he keep the talent up at the front of the field? We still have a long way to go here in stage one. Bason's nose is now crushed in with all of the pushing now too. I think that issue may have flipped here potentially. Bason's realized the issue. He pushed the back of Tucker so hard, apparently down for a good lap, that it just decimated his Camry front nose.
Sorry. Yeah, it's unfortunate that happened to him. It's just the way you said Camry was a mixture of Camaro and Camry. I like that. That's funny. But no, it's not good that it happened to him. He knows he's going to have to get that damage fixed. And it's so important to have these noses be clean and clear. And that's really a drawback right now. I didn't think they would be able to fix that Toyota problem very much early on. I mean, it's a matter of time before they fix it, but iRacing still needs to work on it a little bit, it looks like.
It almost looks like the issue flipped from the back end to the front end.
Oh, yeah.
That. Now, that's got to be concerned too. It's going to be interesting to see if we see that happen if we stay well tucked up, bumper to bumper here, and somebody has a similar issue again in our manufacturer. Speaking of drivers on the top line, we're 2x2 for the most part, but Hodgson amongst those who stay up top. Cody Porter also a part of those in line alongside Johnny Avila. So the SLOW machines riding patiently. Outside of Matthew David Wood, he's been really one of those that I've noticed not working with his teammates. He has been trying to cut through this field a couple times over.
He got up all the way up to third place so far. I haven't seen him get much higher after that. But then again, you're looking at that 16 car. Remember, he did not start way up in the front of this field. He started all the way back in 42nd, second to last, similar to Vroman. And then they went through the field together, but right now he's going the wrong way, got in the wrong line, and no momentum for that top line right now, but things change quick here at Dega.
We're definitely seeing just how difficult it is just to keep yourself in some proper lanes, make sure you're aware of the lane choices, make sure you're aware of the momentum. It's almost like your head's on a swivel with this type of racing, absolutely, here lately. And especially if you're at the top splits, you can't just mindlessly drive lap after lap in a field with an SOF of 4,200 behind you. You've got to be aggressive.
You don't lead at Talladega and Daytona anymore by being on the fastest, the qualifier in the race and sitting on the pole and waiting for the end of the race when everybody decides to make moves. The moves happen constantly. You're right, you got to be on it. You cannot slack at all. The moment you do, you lose spots. And just one, like for example, outside pole center was the 5 car, Bobby Anderson. He stayed in his line, and now he's way back in traffic on the bottom of the racetrack, and he hasn't been in the top 10 since lap 1.
Yeah, kind of where you need to build trust is you want to be up the front. If you want to be able to have confidence that you can lead a pack, be able to stay up in the front. Anderson, one of those who was fairly impressive. Remember Daytona, where you have a similar style. I'd say Echo Park's a different type of super speedway, if you will. The way it's handled there and how quick those laps go and how tight the lines can get and the lane drift up. Here, it's a lot more on your driver skill set more than how much your car or tires rip away, so to speak.
Driver has a lot more input here than the car. I always say car is, as long as the car's set up mildly decent, the draft being the great equalizer can make some drivers who are really, really good stand out here. It doesn't matter if your car's not always 100% there. So some cars that we don't normally see in the top 5 are there right now. Oh, look out. Here comes Gil Pearson and a few more cars coming down pit road. Oh, contact. They're wrecking on the entry to pit road.
Casey Graves is around. Benefield, Delaney, all sorts of chaos. No caution. We stay green. As you see how much some of the top drivers of the pack lose. Delaney, one of your best super speedway racers of 2025, gets turned.
Take a look at this pit entry. It is just very chaotic. I mean, there was no signs that they were coming down. It just happened. And right here, I think it was Casey Graves overcooked it and got into the back of the 5, right in front of the 19, and the 97 as well. But yeah, that's what ended up causing that right there.
Ends up spinning a lot of drivers into the midst of chaos. By the way, for those wondering, why are we making this call? Quite simple. If you expect the fuel runs to go the way they do, why not flip the short stop now? See if you can, if it goes green, take the long stop later, pick up more time on the racetrack and force everyone else to fight hard for those that are not trying that strategy.
That's really going to break up, though, that entire first pack that came down pit road. If you did not pit, you are staying out as long as humanly possible now. You want to make sure that pack that came down pit road is penalized for what they did. Oh my gosh, look at that. Block from the 58 car went from the top to the bottom to block that 00 Billy Brickley. And he's going back up to the top to block the 16. He's just controlling both lanes right now.
Seeing defense right now up at the front of the field. By the way, you mentioned all those packs getting split apart here. Right now, the only drivers on that call that were able to stick within the group: Pearson, Anderson, Lucas Hoytsville, Ralph Hutchinson, Jason S. Taylor, Stephen Williams. That is it. Already hearing a lot of conversation for some of the others on the radio involving Adam Benefield, by the way. Amongst those in the chaos. He just said somebody jumped sky high on his screen. Don't want that at Dega.
Just got to give a mention here. That 16 car leading the inside line in that Greg Biffle paint scheme. Going to be maybe leading a lap here. Looks like he will, yeah. That's awesome. Matthew David Wood bringing that 16 up to the front, leading a lap. All right, that's awesome.
Oh, you're a fan of how he's raced so far this series.
His homage to Greg Biffle is a really important thing to me. I love that he does that.
Now, proven he wants to be aggressive here today. He's found some friends at least to work with, but as you can see, two of the Conti cars now take control of the line. Hodgson will take control of the inside. Conklin actually side traps him to make sure he doesn't get too big of a run. Stealth entry of Bryce Reiner will now come up. Reiner is going to be the stealth machine now on the push, joined by Cody Porter, who did make a paint scheme change in the past week, by the way. If you look at the back bumper, he's joined Boyd Hogan and Legacy now with the team's changes coming into the end of the qualifying series.
Cody Porter, man, that 04 car leading the inside lane. I like the kind of like silver bullet looking thing he's carrying this week. It's a fast car, and he's been making very aggressive moves all day, and I think it's going to work for him a little bit. He's going to probably lead this lap if he can hang on to it with a push from Nolan Hodgson.
Able to get himself up to the front. A little bit chippy behind them with Vroom Vroom, but it's Porter to the race lead for the first time today. Porter making it clear, though, he wants to get led laps like Wood, but also my thought is, can he stay out of trouble because he's had so much bad luck in this series?
He has had a lot of bad luck. And what I was saying earlier before the pit stops happen is you're going to see drivers who aren't not normally up front start getting some chances up towards the front. We saw Billy Brickley, for example. We saw Thomas Kulmacheski a little bit up there. Forward Cody Porter. These are drivers we normally see running maybe top 10s max. Very rarely do we ever see them in the top 5, except for here at the super speedways, and that's where they tend to just jump out and shine, and I love seeing it this week. It just really equalizes everybody.
By the way, as you see things change up the front, you know how rough Porter's season's been? In 5 races so far this season, Car 04 has scored 12 points. 12. He's had no finishes above the top 30.
Oh my
or
goodness.
even. Wesley Napier is the only air driver with a point total lower than that in the field tonight, but he's only made 2 starts with 7 points.
Goal for him is to get to the end of stage and then get to the end of the race, get some extra points for that 04 team. Maybe win the race. This is probably a good chance to flip all of your luck around.
Right now, by the way, there is an important thing to note with the different packs on times here. Right now, the pack, the lead group, is running 59 threes at the head of it. If you're in the draft, you can go on a 49 flat, I should say, 49 threes. Those who are in front of them are losing time. They've mostly found each other packed together. The problem is, even when pushing, they are not fast enough to make this strategy work with the short pit. They are 0.3 laps slower than those that are right behind them. They are about to be caught, in fact, in the next couple of laps if it stays green.
And when they do catch that draft within a second, it's going to really kind of cause the front end of this lead pack to spread out a little bit, because you're going to have one line benefit from the draft of these cars they're catching. And once that happens, who knows how this line's going to look. They got to be able to navigate these cars that are wanting to stay on the lead lap at all costs. But then again, these guys got to pit soon too. So any time now, these guys are going to come down pit road. It might not benefit them in the long run, but they might be able to stay on the lead lap if they can hold them off.
Look how the single file is starting to build up on the inside, by the way. Do you like choo-choo trains? Well, the inside line's going to get it, not the outside right now. Oh, a little bit of trouble back there. That was Johnny Avila that was swatting flies and moved onto the apron mid-corner.
Got really loose going into turn 3, saved the car, but had to go to the apron to try and save it. And he just rejoined the track, and everybody was avoiding him. No contact, staying green.
I think that's going to be a note potentially here. I've noticed when looking at the eyeball test, a few drivers are having some of their splitters dragging in the middle of the corner. That's causing some of the bodywork to pop up. Avila on the eyeball test, and this is, mind you, with the spectate not providing the same look in normal. Avila's nose is technically the only one in the ground right now, amongst those in the Toyotas at the very least. So I think Avila's car is starting to bottom out here as the fuel burns away, and that could be a trouble for him.
You want to get these cars close to the ground as you can in some places. Helps with the downforce, helps with the speed, be able to get good draft. But right now, with everybody getting down to the bottom lane, oh boy, you do not want to be right now the 41 and the 12. They are stuck nose to tail on the top line, and no one is around them. They are the only two running the top lane, and they cannot find a hole yet to get down to the bottom. They desperately need one.
Absolutely, and I don't think they're going to get that pretty easily, to say the very least here. Right now, you see how Daiso works himself around, and will he find the hole? I think he might have a chance behind the 44. No, he won't. That actually got filled immediately by Tanner Marcy instead. So they'll drop to the tail as we're almost at pit stop time for the majority of the main group, as the short pitters are right in drafting distance. They're right about to catch up to Bobby Anderson and co. Look on board. This is just offset to the right of the driver, essentially to the shoulder for the onboard camera tonight. Conklin, who's now led 9 laps, has already picked up a couple miles an hour on the draft. He's already near 200 miles an hour with the push.
199, nope, didn't quite hit 200 that time, but I can guarantee you that might happen next time down the back. I think that lead line is going to decide to come down pit road though soon, very soon. They got to. We're almost at the end of the chances that they get to be able to come down pit road before they run out of gas. So I think that the biggest thing that you want to focus on is making sure you don't miss your chance to pit when the leaders come down. If you stick with them, probably going to be the best. You don't want to be left out to dry when everybody else comes down pit road.
See just how much the field's now gaining a lot. 199 might actually, it will hit 200 miles an hour. 201, fastest seen with the cars with this package this year, is right now with the buildup. And here come the leaders to lap on by all the short pitters. Now, there is a counterpoint, though, that they may have come into play here after the pit stops. Remember, one of these fields is going to take a short pit later. The already have done so. Some of these drivers that are getting lapped did save 4 seconds in the pit lane with the original fuel call. That might be the one saving grace to even be in position to be amongst the leaders and not adrift by the time these drivers get themselves sorted. These lead cars did not all try to pass, by the way. Look at Benefield going for the lead behind the back of the 5.
Yeah, it was going to be one way or the other. If the 58 would have rode behind the 5, the 83 would have made a move. But because the 84 and the 58 chose to go to the top, it makes sense. Sure, these guys in front of you are a lap down, or at least on the tail end of the lead lap, but the two competitors you have are now stuck on the outside of this giant train. They're only going to go one direction, and it's not a good way. You cannot hang on to that spot for long doing this. Side drafting for Conklin, though, got to give him props. He is right on the door of these guys. But look at that. Cody Porter goes up to the top to try and help those two.
Trying to cover him off. Now you can see the Toyotas linking up top line. Porter just trying to follow whatever line works here before pit stops come into play. Now, one of the things, 38 laps is in the draft on fuel for those that are making the note. So that number is accurate. Keep in mind, the estimate for how much is in the fuel tanks for some of the drivers seen is about a gallon, maybe a gallon and a half right now. So we're about to see a pit party breakout. And it looks like most of the field is going to be keeping it super secret what lap they're going to actually do this, if they're going to go for the undercut or going to go for the overcut for when they dive down pit road.
With this group of cars that are a lap down at the front end of this field, if you're in the top 10, you know, you might just go all the way till you run out of gas, because you're going to have a good group of cars stay out with you because they have to stay out. I think that it's going to be a split decision, but if you're towards the back of the field, you're going to come down first. The first time you see someone make a dive, you're going to follow them.
Conklin moves down and watch for anyone to blend. There was at least one pop with the radio before. No one comes down. Although, put Pearson, by the way, into the I've got nose damage club, by the way. He picked that up trying to cut through the field with some of the pushes yet again. So we have our first Chevy that's picked up heavy damage from trying to push somebody too long. Couple, actually, because Williams also has it. So the window should be about this time. Let's find out if we see a peel down. A lot of people are trying to find the hole now. Only Basin and Porter are not able to find anything, and they can't pit from the second line, obviously. That will cause a pile up here. A little bit further this time as they keep on going with the fuel save. Masterful job you have to give credit for how they've been able to stretch this run a little bit. Make it to where it's going to potentially be a 2-stopper max. Conklin gets ditched. Basin says, I'm not going to ditch you, buddy. I already had a situation last week.
Yeah, that was very odd. Hoytsma and the 19 going up to the top, trying to stay on the lead lap. Now Cody Porter, who was running in P3, now leads, even though the cars in front of them are all lapped down. Just for a short period of time, he loses the draft very quickly and moves into P2.
Pitting in calls coming on in, hands out the window. Conklin ready to lead them down for their first stops of the race in the main group. Will there be chaos? The top three are staggered down. Not too many, but we have close calls for speeding possibly. Conklin pushed the tempo. Nobody got a black flag this time.
Not a bad pit entry for these guys, but now all those that stayed out on the racetrack need to start working together and pushing hard. They need to carry all the momentum they can.
I expect a lot more to drive in this time. We got 18 left on the racetrack now as a result with the stop. That includes Benefield and Vroom Vroom. We have a sizable gap, actually, to Mullins. The drivers that are essentially from the mid-pack did not get going well. To be able to keep up with those that are hooked on with those who are going to keep going here. Benefield wants those who will stay up with Vroom Vroom. Mullins and company start their wave of pit stops. Some of the Lunar machines in. Mesnard on the outside, and Madero spins in his lap traffic in.
He did not need that. He was already a lap down. Doesn't help him very much there.
The two-tar calls that time through, by the way. All this, we'll see more calls over the radio this time. Gauthier amongst those coming in with the calls. Bluon should say, amongst the calls. All of this as well. You see some of the drivers that are saying, I've got first stall, gotta come in, gotta negotiate, gotta plan. Benefield is coming down. Here comes a whole mess of cars this time. Vroom Vroom immediately to the last pit stall. Times it up perfect.
Now we're going to find out exactly where all these guys stack up, because right now I think Cody Porter in the 04 is going to be the eventual leader once they are able to come back around. They're halfway down the back straight.
Tyler Hunter just crashed on pit road. He tried to go to his stall. Andrew Dyson was pinned on the inside, and Hunter got turned into his box.
Hate to hear that.
Yeah, now gonna cost him. Porter, he's actually ahead of Conklin here with his pit stop. They're going to have a lot of momentum to zoom on through this time. They'll pass by everybody who just pit essentially on the racetrack. That leaves only two yet to come down for their scheduled stops. Benefield and Vroom Vroom. Those are actually the ones who are coming out pit road, should rather say. Right now, they're going to block. Here goes Porter. He gets zipped by. Conklin on the bumper with Basin, with Reiner. You also have Trill. You also have Avila on the outside, bringing a couple with them. And with that in mind, the lead group is down to 12.
Those 12 are Cody Porter. See Conklin there, Basin as well, followed by Bryce Reiner in the 25, making one of his first few starts. 71 of Truel right there. 36 of Tucker, Billy Brickley, Avila, Matthew David Wood, Nolan Hodgson, and then you got Adam Benefield and Nick Vroman.
See a lot of calls over the radio for drivers to say, let's go low, sort out, sort out, sort out. And people are saying, what are we doing? Paul Hill's already indicated he's going to blow up, saying, why are you in front of me? That's communication at its best here, Kirk. You got to communicate with your competitors on what your temps are if you don't want to pop your motor.
Yeah, but Napier absolutely does not have to get out of the way. He can be the lead driver of that pack if he so chooses, but obviously what they want to do is be able to catch this lead pack before the end of this first stage. They have the ability to do that, but that 26 is going to say whatever it takes, considering they are not teammates, to get that 52 car out of the way.
We have
now we got him out of the way.
Yep, Daiso is penalized. This runner-up in last night's Friday Night Lights race ended up getting too many pit boxes through. That was not a surprise. How things were set up there. So Daiso will fall back a bit as a result, as everybody else in the train, they're looking to try and find half a second a lap to keep up with the leaders. The smaller group, less cars to spread the energy with, is going quicker.
Do you mind if we could pull up the graphic where it shows the difference in speeds for, say, let's say it would be Nolan Hodgson there in 12th and Paul Hill, 12th to 13th. If we could see the gaps, that once that loads in, we'll be able to see where exactly they are.
Yeah, look at that. Red, red, red for the numbers. Benefield for comparison, a little bit better. Hill going the wrong way, even though he set a 49.2, one of the best laps since the pit stops in that pack last time by. Those lead cars are in the 48.8s, and their best are another half a second quicker than Paul Hill's personal best.
Now we're going to see when they cross the stripe how bad it is, because right now it looks like it's about 0.3 of a second a lap and growing. It could be that exact number, it could be more. We're going to find out right here. They just crossed the stripe, and you can see this time the gap is still waiting. Right there, that time it was 0.8 of a second. Holy, 0.9 to be closer. Holy cow. Not a good lap at all for that second pack.
Yep, you see just how much these drivers are having a difficult time closing, and obviously that means that one thing, not in range for stage points if it goes green. They're all in the situation where they're hoping somebody makes a mistake. They want a chance to score good points. By the way, Tyler Hunter from his hit 42nd. One of the couple who are laps down as a result of their issues on pit road. Medeiros is the other one. Also, Casey Graves and Jonathan Delaney are about to get lapped themselves here. Then Daiso would be at the risk of getting lapped, but Medina and Komacheski. 9/10 another time. Picked up again, lost again rather, on the track.
That lead pack is just going to run away with this one. If you are in the second pack, you at this point, you know you're going for race win at the end of the day. Oh my goodness, look at this. They're splitting up to the top lane. Some folks want to go to the top. Some folks are going to the bottom. They think that they can do a better job of making this line move faster, so they're trying to break it up, do a pack. Maybe pack racing is faster than single file. I don't think so. I don't believe so, but it looks like they're going to try it.
Some of them are going to attempt whatever they can here. But you can see some of the staggering going on amongst these drivers here, trying to situate themselves in the main group. 3 wide, gonna hurt them. Taylor nearly wrecked it in front of the field. Big save for the 60. And I've noticed a couple drivers, if they're trying lane changes, that's one of the main common points for some of the top teams. Don't switch lanes, middle of the corner, you might spin it.
Got to have a pretty good handling race car to be able to handle it. But you can see how chaotic it is back here. This is the second pack we're looking at again, folks. The lead pack that is currently leading this thing is 12 cars big, and Cody Porter up front of that pack right now, leading Johnny Avila, who we saw almost crash. Now they're catching lap traffic. You can see the 41 of Dyson, the 6-car Delaney, and the 01 of Casey Graves. They all had a very rough pit entry and a penalty for the 41, leading them to get lapped, and it looks like that they are kind of splitting up this lead pack a little bit now.
Yeah, this group is not on the same page whatsoever. Some of the drivers, but keep in mind, they still are maintaining this group you see on screen, a 9-1 lead. Mind you, the R pack is trying single file to see if that's going to work for comparison's sake. More blocking going up as Daiso tries to get himself a lap back the hard way. Graves and Delaney trying to maintain it, as right now the lap cars all trying to make sure they don't lose this lead lap. They still picked up 2/10 down the straightaway after that.
Fight for all your might. Try to stay on the lead lap today. That's all you got to be doing right now. If you're looking at the 88 car, Thomas Kumacheski, he's going to be doing that. He's going to stay on the bottom. Everybody's going to move up to the top. Look out, Nolan. You're about to have a moving roadblock right in the middle of the racetrack for you. Takes it 3 wide.
See how much the craziness is starting to build up a little bit in this pack again. That includes the 71 getting a help from Conklin. Some of the drivers really wanting to get some cuts done pretty quickly. Do you want to ride in the back or the front at this point, Kirk?
Depends. I mean, if you're going for a championship, you're going to be riding up front trying to get as many stage points as you can. But you know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing the 04 Cody Porter is pushing a 2-lap down race car to try and maintain this lead. He's pushing Dyson ahead of him so that way he can get past the 36 for the lead. The battle for the lead here is between the 36 and the 04. The 6, the 01, and the 41 are not a part of this conversation. So it's hard to describe this because the battle for the lead is in the middle of the pack.
You're seeing exactly that right now with some of the drivers. All this is wow. Everybody else tries to think of where the number's going to be. Remember, about 40 laps. It's going to get interesting what lap some of the drivers go because remember, we're going 98 on the stage. The math, if we go green, is about going to be a lap 80, 82-ish maybe for some of the drivers here on this pack, Kirk. It's still a ways out here by an hour 15 minutes, maybe 20. But the main thing that comes to mind in terms of that conversation point here is going to be who short pits as some of the drivers get scattered up at the top 4 wide as Woods shuffle.
Yeah, the 16 car got him shuffled out. A little bit of contact got him loose up out of the groove. Saved it, but lost his spots. And now Cody Porter was able to clear those lap cars. And now it looks like Truhl is getting a shot from Conklin up at the front of this field. Conklin moves down to move out of the way. Now that 71's going the wrong direction. He's got to find a hole quick.
Got to find some space pretty fast here. See a lot of the drivers at the bottom of the racetrack trying to get to work. They've kind of equalized out, by the way, to all the other drivers running the bottom with all the squabbling for now. See how long that lasts as Delaney has a little bumper built up here. Now, in amongst this conversation point, remember last year was the king of the super speedway, Jonathan Delaney, who's had bad luck here tonight, had been your best driver on super speedways in 2025. Remember, he outscored everyone by 15 points. Matt DeCiani was second. Lucas Hoytsman, Patrick Gitter, Thomas Komacheski were the top 5. Tonight, Delaney taking a back step in that conversation. The way things have shaped up here amongst that championship battle. But right now, at the very least, trying to raise himself in a lucky dog position to maybe have a chance in stage 2 onward. Kirk.
It's amazing to see how much the lap traffic is influencing where the leader is going to end up being. That 41 for Dyson, for example, he's not anywhere near the lead lap. He's a couple laps down, but he's 1 lap down rather, but he's sitting right in a position where he can get his lap back if he passes just 1 more car. He's in a lucky dog spot. I don't think he wants to give it up. I think he's willing to ride for a little while.
I think so. I think he's willing to just remain patient here. How things are going. Right now, Daiso is the one in the lucky dog spot until they reach the next couple cars. Why not just say, I'm willing to push? Now, you got to be careful in case there's a caution flag at some point, because remember, if he is, say, on somebody's bumper with a 0x, give it a push, and they end up spinning at the time he's at the 0x on the trigger, it would go to the next car back. So that's one of the games you have to be careful of. As Vroom Vroom thought about a third line, it didn't work.
I think he actually came down a side draft to 36, and it worked good because they both lost a lot of momentum. 71 and 41 and the 58 all got a little bit of a gap ahead of them as that 36 is going the wrong direction.
Yeah, and remember, Tucker, a part of the conversation we had last season with ESE, Elite Sour Esports, now Certified Harpoon, is essentially the club, if you can call it that he works with. So far, has had some very solid pace tonight. Has been one of the drivers making it clear he wants to ride up front. Near contact now as Conklin trying to come down to side draft. Now, drivers saying we've got help now, and they are starting to slow down compared to the others. They've now lost a second to Pack 2.
Well, they're starting to work together in that second pack, which is important. You need to have cars that are quick up front. You know Hoytsma is, and we know that Hutchinson is with Paul Hill working together, leading that line. There's a chance. I don't think it's a very huge chance, but there's a chance they can catch back up. But I think we're going to see some more pit stops here in a little bit too, considering that we got to go all the way to lap 94, I think it is. I mean, 98 rather. It's a long way to go. They're going to have to pit again. So I think that them gaining is going to be good for them for now. They just got to keep that up. They cannot give up any more time at all. And I think this lead pack realized that, and now they're adjusting to where everyone now is single file in this front pack. I think that they have made the conscious decision to try and stay single file.
I think they kind of have to. They lost a little bit of time. They know the difference compared to them and Hoytsma. Now, the interval is going right back the opposite way. It's with them running the middle here even. Still working out. It looks like everybody except for maybe Conklin is on the page of wanting the single file out. Conklin wants to be the leader in this and wants to pin Daiso back a lap down. Right now, some of the drivers are already saying, what are we doing?
Yeah, they're changing their minds. They decided, you know, screw it, we're racing. That's what they decided. So instead of going single file trying to hold them off, looks like now that they're just going to give up some time to that second pack. You might catch them even quicker. Or might not, who knows?
If you're seeing a lot of squabbling out here as we come up to lap 60 next time by. Already closing in to the final stretches of the stage pretty soon. What is the long stage to begin things off here tonight? You know, the funny thing about that conversation is, I remember so many tracks considered short stage, very long stage originally before NASCAR, when they did the stages, kind of sanctioned where they want the distances to be, Kirk. Like, for example, going to be 50-50 and then 300 were some of the conversations. It's feeling like that type of a race here tonight because of how long this third stage is.
Well, we're going to find out how well that third stage actually works out, how it feels. I think it's going to feel more like a sprint. I mean, I hope not, but, I mean, one of these days, the way that this feels right now, it feels like one of those old NASCAR races, because we have been green this entire time, and I miss this. Just say, go, guys, go. And then they race. Race as long as they can. And, you know, then we get green flag pit stops. Problems happen, and you don't get that, you know, stage caution to save you. You got to keep going. And, you know, that is what I think racing should be right here. And we're seeing a glimpse of it, but only here in the beginning. Once that stage comes out, we go back to the nonsense. But for now, side by side up front, again, you can see that Conklin leading the outside line, getting pushed by Truex. Oh, look out, there goes a move into the middle there for Basin trying to get by Truex right there, and it worked out.
If you're seeing a little bit more infighting here, they're still picking up time despite the infighting. They're on pit road again, by the way, in the pack. Some of the drivers audible here and taking a short stop now. This, in theory, would get you to the end of the stage. So this is now the play that a lot of the people in this group have to try. Some of them audible, some of them went full distance for the short pit first time.
A lot of cars locked it up on entry, but nobody got spun around that time on the entry. So good for them now as the leaders come back around. We have two cars coming down pit road. Casey Graves is one of them, and the 6-car Delaney lap cars coming down pit road after they had their error on the first pit stop. Now, what about that second pack? Is anybody coming down with them? I don't think so quite yet.
Yeah, not quite sure here, but the error drivers coming down pit road now. A lot of those drivers will be lapped here. Not everybody. And some of the drivers are still in their pit boxes for some extra time here. Includes Delaney and company that are looking to try and find things out here. So that only leaves a couple drivers on the racetrack that are not in this main group still extending. Paul Hill, Wesley Napier, Lim, Zodiac, Sander, Kleinman, Duggar, and a couple others here. Here comes the run on the next group.
Flying by on the top, it looks like. 3 cars that are lapped down are going to get lapped here. And everybody else moves up to the top with the exception of like half the pack. They're just holding back a little bit.
Yeah, you see how much some of the drivers are really trying to handle this. Kleinman's already said we're staying on the bottom in their group right now. That includes Duggar, also Medeiros, who's had issues in the stage several times over. Fluot will now lead the inside line for now, at least charge to that main group as some of the errors continue. So, game plan wise now, Kirk, we know what's at stake. We know what's on the cards for some of the drivers here. Do you think we run it green the rest of the way? Because that's the play for a lot of this field is they need it to stay green.
Yeah, we kind of hope so. I mean, love the strategy so far. It's kind of chaotic and hard to follow. But what I can say is that looking at the cars, I know it's all going to converge into something really good for us. As you see the 41 make a move to the inside of Conklin, puts him on the top line, and that's going to help Vroman, Benefiel, and Kulmacheski go by the 58, or at least get side by side with them there for the lead. New leader, Vroman back up front.
Indeed. From liking to lead laps, it seems here, obviously. All of that will see the field sort itself together. Caution flag is out. Throw all the strategy out the window. And just like that, it's Wesley Napier, who's had a couple appearances this season. He's gone around because he got phased through.
What?
Owen Napier spinning on the racetrack. In our words, Internet Gremlin.
Looking at, yeah, I got the view here. I'll see if we can't send you something. I don't know if you can do this. I'll try and do it this way. Hang on.
Yep. Let's see this here. You already see by the time he appears again, damage is there. So it's Napier that picks up a heavy bit of damage. Mind you, driver behind was in his car by a good little bit there, hence why we had the spin around, put us up the caution flag.
It reminds me of that wreck that happened with the Toyotas at Talladega a handful of years ago, where Bubba Wallace got turned way up into the outside wall, and a few other guys were involved in that. From 2311, yeah, the Eric Jones crash. It looked like that, and it actually looks so similar to that. I think it could have been obviously it was netcode, but it could have been something similar. I'm gonna see if I can't send a clip and see if we can't show it. I don't know. We're gonna try.
Absolutely. So, everybody who didn't pit yet comes down. And we should see a lot of people potentially even stay out here. Indeed we do. And there are a lot of wave arounds as a result of this caution. That's the timing of how things worked. A lot of the people that needed this race to go green so they could cycle just got burned and will have to take the wave around and lose all the track position they had built up in some of their cases. First off is Conklin.
I don't know if Morgan can do this here, producer. Just send a video in the chat here. If there's a way that we could somehow get that to work, I think that would show you exactly what happened. We'll have it when we come back from a commercial. What do you say, Justin?
We'll take a break. We can come back. First caution of the race for the FLCC tonight. You're watching the Intimidator 500.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
That was the reason we're under caution, by the way. That, again, video provided by Kirk Mills in that situation. As you can see, phased on through in that situation, causing the caution.
Very weird wreck, to say the least. Yeah, the car was just halfway through the back bumper of the car in front, and next thing you know, car went up in the outside wall, and that's what brings out the caution and changes the strategy entirely. Some cars are trapped a lap down. Some cars are taking the wave around. Look, a lot of cars are taking a wave around. A lot of them are already up the race speed down the back straightaway, trying to catch up to the back of the lead pack for this restart. As we're on one more lap before we get the green flag, we're here on board with Delaney taking a wave around, as well as most of these cars that were a lap down just came down pit road.
A lot of them trying to rush quickly to get themselves back up to the leaders who are in turn 1 and 2 exit. Let's go full throttle. Should be okay on gas. We want the caution period here, obviously, because they only have to now go about 31 laps in terms of the distance. But some drivers took a tire set, others did not. Conklin and Vroom Vroom are on the front row, Kirk.
And those two drivers were dominant last week, and guess what? They're up front again. Normally, whenever I think about going to a super speedway, some of the guys that are like really, really good throughout the year are not always up at the front. But this year, look at their top three. Top three are some of the best performers we've seen all year. You got Conklin, Roman, Benefield. And seeing those guys up towards the front is what we kind of expect week in and week out. But then you get drivers that we don't normally see up the front. Cody Porter, like we said, never had a finish better than 30th all year long. And now he's, as a rookie, running P4, and he's led a lot of laps. He's done real good. So it really does bring those that may not have the same amount of speed week in and week out up to the front, equalizing things out as the pace car goes down pit road to get a restart.
Here we go. Restart zone time. This time through. It's going to be Conklin and Vroom Vroom, Benefield and Porter, Avila and Reiner, followed by Tucker and Wood. Then Hodgson and Brickley amongst your top 10. The green flag is out. We're backing away. A little bit too big of a jump, maybe. Conklin with the launch. There was a check over the back, and they are stacking up as race control warned the field. Bobby Anderson, Cliff Mullins, and a couple of drivers just got demolished back in the field.
Looking at the damage of the cars back there, Pearson's got a lot of it, but a lot of these guys got a lot of front-end damage now. They're going to have to try and get to the end of the stage and get that damage fixed when they come down pit road. Still double file for the lead now. Here comes Benefield to the top side, passing up on the top.
If you see how much Benefield trying to work with his Conti teammate here, has Porter behind also. Now we come up inside 30 laps to go, this time by the Conti machines. We talked about them in team standings coming into tonight. Look fairly solid so far here in this one. Right now, you can see that outside line giving them the boost. Mind you, Roman is currently the top driver coming into today in the King of the Super Speedway for 2026. Right now, one of a couple drivers who've gotten a win on the Super Speedways so far. 20 points up with Dylan Basin. Jason S. Taylor, the other winner, is currently in third in those standings coming into tonight, Kirk.
It's a big deal to these guys. They want to be able to be the best in the super speedways as we're coming to complete lap 69. Nice. Gotta say that. And another deal is if you can win that. Oh my goodness, look in the middle right there. Who's that? Just he is bobbing and weaving through these guys. Basin that was a super aggressive move to go through the middle, and he gained so many spots doing it. Oh yeah, that's a replay moment. Definitely for sure.
A little bit of a dicey one. Let's take a look at it.
Anyone else hear those that one song, the Freebird solo right here? Watch this right here. Shoots the middle. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's Freebird right there.
Little bit of a tight window. He's able to fit into it before things overheated and overloaded. They make their way on through. By the way, got information in terms of the card side, as expected. Ken Byron, when he hears his name called, he's like Batman. He appears into somebody's DMs. Now, of course, in terms of Pokemon, football, amongst some of the other things they'll sell include TCG, which is trading card game products, raw cards, sealed products. So it is a real idea and approach that they plan to do for a real-world storefront when it comes to the Renko side to expand to outside sim racing.
You know, I'm a little disconnected from that world myself, but, you know, in recent years, it just feels like everybody's been going there, trying to buy cards, sell cards, and, you know, these collectibles, oh my gosh, up front. But I don't know nothing about it, you know? It's kind of like this pop-up shop, and it's kind of new, so at least to me. I knew they sold them for a long time on eBay, but now that, like, all these shorts are being made, there's so much interest in that area right now that it's no doubt they're trying to get involved in it. It's a oh my golly gracious! Oh, there he goes! He turns him.
Porter's around. Here we go. Stack up with the field. The bad luck for the SLOW cards continue. Both of their mainstays alongside several more get collected. It's a parking lot.
Oh no. Cody Porter, let's see what he got turned there in the 04. Something happened to him. Luckily, I don't think he has too much damage, but the 63 of Avila most certainly does. Overcorrected back up into the outside line, and Chad Sanders blown up. He's done for the day. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, I think Porter got some help with the bumper in the middle of the corner. Right there, that's his teammate, Wood. A little bit too much assistance, they went offset.
Yeah, I think that there was actually two pushes that contributed to that. And we're going to look at them both here. Oh my gosh, yeah, 24 trying to avoid heavy impact to the inside wall there. But yeah, that 04 car, the initial push he got was actually initiated from the 58 to the 16, and the 16 to the 04. And it wasn't the like anything egregious. It was just a light push to that 16 right. Watch this right here. The 58 hits 16 right there and gets the 16 up closer to the 04 than he'd like, and just at the wrong position, and that's what brought it out. Cars spinning everywhere trying to avoid it. And I'm trying to look at the total number of cars involved here and who has the worst damage out of them. But, man, it just was not a fun incident right there to watch.
Yeah, that ends up damaging a lot of cars. Not a lot of terminal damage out of any of it, though. Only driver that got terminal damage was Chad Sanner.
That was it, yeah.
Everybody else got at least a little bit of contact, but nothing to where it's a race ender, per se.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah, we'll find out where some of the drivers now have to come down. It's now the Renko Hobbies and Collectibles car, based in the front of the field. Will anyone else peel down? Of note, Conklin did get damage from that. He did damage the front nose, but will not sacrifice the track position to repair it yet.
Oh boy, that might change some things up front. You know, that 04, the wreck itself changed things up front, but not a fun situation at all. That's our second caution in like 15 laps or so. And take a look again who's up front leading this thing right now. Basin, the guy who just made those crazy moves to get up towards the front. I mean, that was awesome. He had that whole, that whole moment being able to squeeze through everybody up towards the front, missed the big wreck, and now he's got the lead with Billy Brickley right on his 6. You think we should talk to him for a minute? I think we can bring Basin in here, can't we?
I think so, if he is around, and the answer is he is in a very busy room. Let's see if we can bring him on in to the discussion points here. Why don't we? It's Dylan Basin, your race leader. Dylan Basin, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling about this race, especially after you just went wildly through the middle of the field, full throttle, and still get yourself up to the race lead after the carnage that just happened?
Yeah,
He liked that.
sounds like Freebird in my head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we have a pretty good shot at it. The car is really strong. Unfortunately, got that like neck code front bumper damage earlier when I was pushing somebody. And I've only had it happen twice here in iRacing, and both times it happened was in FLCC. So unfortunate, but the car's back up here. That move, I felt great about myself. That helped the confidence a lot. Just held it wide open through the middle, and just try to keep doing the same thing the rest of the race and hope we don't die.
So you mentioned part of the keys here now. In turn, how do you feel the racing will be with the short stages 2 and 3 instead of the short stages 1 and 2 with Dega?
I think it'll, with it being after that the halfway point of the race and shorter stages, it'll be pretty aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a few more wrecks happen in that time period. I'm hoping not. It's a long race. Just trying to get it over with. Go on the next week for me. Late tracks are kind of a wild card, so whatever happens here, I'm not really too angry about it. So hopefully we can keep it clean, but you never know.
Anything else you like that before we let you get back to your team? I know you got a different sponsor on the car tonight from the Rico camp.
Yeah, it's a new paint. This is his debut right here. A lot of new sponsors or iterations of some, so pretty cool to be repping it.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Dylan Basin. He is the one who will control the field. Billy Brickley is in second. Then it's Wood and Benefiel, Lim and Hodgson, Hill and Komacheski, Daiso and Zosiak with heavy damage. Pluot amongst the drivers towards the front of the field in the first 13 or so spots.
Conklin, by the way, Justin, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Conklin was beating doors with Vroman going into turn 1 here. They were door banging while we were talking with his teammate up front in turn 1.
I think they're just having friendly banter, in that circumstance. They were teammates when they were both in the Ryko camp before, so it's not a shock.
There's just something interesting to notice. I just saw him making door contact under caution. I'm like, well, all right.
Yep, all of this as well. We're coming up to start lap 76. Right now, we've had plenty of leaders, by the way, for those checking in. It's double digits tonight. 24 with Conklin, 10 with Porter and Vroom Vroom. Benefiel got 8. Tucker has 5. Basin's up to 4. Reiner with 3. 2 for Hodgson, Graves, and Lucas Hoitzma. Brickley, Hill, Wood, and Avila. All one singular lap up the front of the field so far tonight. So a good, at least, almost a quarter of the field has at the least gotten themselves to the front. More than a quarter, if you will. Here we go for the restart zone. Make their way down to the front straightaway. Green flag is out, back on our way. Inside line does get the better launch this time as Wood goes to the bumper. See just how much some of the drivers are getting together on the inside. Already triple car tandeming at its finest, quadruple nearly, with how much momentum's built up inside.
They're still not up to speed quite yet. They normally start hitting top speed coming out of turn number 4. So we're starting to get there. And, man, look at that. Yunsun Lim in the 67 made his way into the top 10. Haven't talked about him all day today. Sitting right now P4.
Yeah, he was one of the drivers involved with some of the phasing in incidents that sparked some of the yellow flags we've seen as of late. Right now, Lim really trying to ride on down as Conklin will go up top. Here comes the block with Basin to join his teammates. Dyson now gets boxed in 2.
This is a chance for Matthew David Wood. If he can get a good push from that 67 working together, they might be able to clear that top lane. Here he goes. Yeah, he's got some push in there. Paul Hill even helping out. 3-car tandem on the bottom. And it looks like they're coming through 3 and 4 now. They're going to be even for the lead.
Yes, again, equal footing as they bounce around here. Wood trying to add to the lap as a lot of communication on the radio of, I think, some poking fun, to say the very least. You know who's trying to make their way on through in the midst of this? Hearing is William Owens. I think there's a few drivers apparently afraid of William Owens and his brake pedal because he's had issues apparently with said pedal, which is not good at the super speedway when you need a pit.
True, but the good news is during the run, you don't need that brake pedal very often now, do you?
Guess there's that, yeah. You just have to be very careful when you do have to come down that you do not pile drive 17 race cars.
Agreed. Talking to you, Chris Wright.
Well, okay, on that note, as they go about 110 laps to go, right now, the field not willing to risk 3 wide early on in this run at least. Surprising to not see the third line come into play like it was strongly coming in earlier.
No, that third lane has not shown up at all since these cautions came out. You know, it makes me wonder, like, I think people just haven't decided to go up there yet. Maybe it's just a matter of time. Maybe somebody makes a move up the third lane, and if more people go with them, maybe that third lane develops again. But that middle lane right now seems to be the place to be.
Definitely, especially with the way the momentum shuffles. Yes, the inside line is good when it comes to the corners, people argue. But that middle line has that advantage down the straightaway because you just got a little kick coming off that banking. And that straight line, just able to build a little extra bit of speed up there. That's why we're seeing that really controlled well. Look at the way Conklin's also managing things on the temps, but also the throttle. See him trying to make sure to manage those RPMs here in the field. Look at that. Also having to make sure to manage the temperatures while getting shoved too. You have one driver saying, got to keep the momentum going, got to keep the momentum going. Well, Conklin just wants to stay on, button up to his teammate, not to the point where he blows up, but enough to where they just keep on maintaining what the status quo is for now.
I'm trying to look at some drivers that might be doing some alternate strategies. That's something I always like to look at. And drivers that remind me of the old alternate strategies are like Tony Stewart, who used to start in the back of the field, run on the back all day, and then charge their way towards the front. Happened a couple times, but then he realized that doesn't work all the time, and he ran up front after that every year. So just depends on who you're looking at. But one of those drivers that gets on, that makes me think about it, is the 5 car right now. Bobby Anderson. The reason being, he's on the lead lap, but he's in the back of this field. He qualified P2. Him and Casey Graves are now back on the lead lap, but they qualified first and second, but they're running 35th and 36th. And I think that there's a reason for that. Maybe they're waiting for the right moment to be able to try and charge up towards the front. And I'm going to reiterate this again. In your top 10, the majority of that top 10 started 20th on back. So people make their way forward, just like the 25 car, Bryce Ryder on the top, getting pushed by Tucker up on the very top. He's trying to make the third lane come back into play. And it is.
Right. Yeah, it is. Look at that momentum building for the stealth car. It's got a little bit of help from a few drivers. That includes Delaney up there, who's third in the line. Oh, now look at that, though. Hodgson may think about blocking. That's the thing. The farther you come from the back of the field to make this work, the more likely you'll have people try and take away that momentum or try and ride that momentum's coattails to the very front of the field. It's so difficult for the driver who starts that momentum up at the top to lead it. You see the block off there from Vroman thinking about the outside too.
But you got to try something. You're going to stay back in the back 20s, 30s even, if you don't make that move. Even though you know some folks might pull out in front of you like they're doing now. Look at that. putting Billy Brickley kind of in the middle there, losing a lot of spots, and Benefield now is going for the lead, 3 wide on the top. How quick things can change at Talladega.
3 wide, here we go. We're coming up to 15 to go in the end of the stage. Running at a time in this lengthy stage 1. Benefield now up in front with a teammate for this series in from behind. Komacheski in the top 3. Here comes the move for Hodgson. He now blends to the middle of the racetrack to work with his Renko teammate. Now they cover up the middle of the racetrack. Komacheski squeezes.
New outside line leader there. It's going to be that 88 of Komacheski for now. It might change again. They move lanes so much up front. And you know, Dyson was a lap down a little bit ago for a long time, but now he's up towards the front again, back on the lead lap. How quick things can change.
How much things can shuffle absolutely here with this, as we see everybody try and figure out the best game plan to go. See at the moment how things will steady apart in this field. Right now, working our way through, running out of laps to work with. By the way, drivers leading that inside line that aren't making too much headway. Daiso, who is on the lead lap, mind you, with the way the cautions have flown. He's trying to get some help from Fel Shovey and Wood, and it's just not working.
That outside line just really needs a powerful car on the top. You really need somebody who has the car that can handle that top line and carry it. And we saw that happen with the 83, the 98. Those two were just super fast. The moment they got to the top, they were able to compete with the front group of cars. Now they're leading that middle lane, and that outside line has been dying ever since Komacheski got in front of it. And there's cars that really want that outside line to get moving again, but they don't really got anywhere they can go right now.
Hearing that Kleinman is running out of gas, by the way, in all this. He just told the field, hey, I'm on fumes probably by the end of this one. I might not make it. Thing is, he's in the 30s, so there's at least that point, but some of the drivers might be a little bit close on the gas tanks for those who have not pit. There's the 7. You see how he's losing the draft here, trying to save.
Yeah, they're probably not going to stick too close to that draft because, look, these guys aren't racing for stage points right now. They know stage points are not in their day. So at this point, they have backed off, and they are going to be out in the back and waiting for the end of the stage before they make any more moves. At this point, that's the only option they really have. They know they're not going to get lapped. It's too close to the end of the stage. They just are just going to ride around for now. As the outside line is becoming to be a factor again, 83 goes up the block. You see Vroman on the bottom, Matthew David Wood in the middle, and Benefield leading the top line right now.
Yep, you see some of the blocks getting a little bit aggressive. That was a little bit tight. That shuffles out Benefield for his sake. They're racing like it's the end of the race right now. We're coming up to what will be 11 to go in stage 1 still.
Oh, I love it. Keep it up, boys.
Yep, you see Hodgson at the least now leading a few laps here. He's led 3 tonight. Want to go for safety with Vroman on the bottom of the racetrack at least. You can tell some of the drivers making their way through. How about Brandon Hastings? We haven't mentioned his name much tonight. He was the winner last night in Friday Night Lights, and he's all of a sudden top 10.
Whoa, my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. That 81 car, Hastings, always root for him. Really nice guy, and man, he has a cool life, to say the least. And it'd be cool to see him win again. Maybe he could sweep the weekend here at Dega.
Yes, indeed. You can tell how much some of the drivers are fighting hard, fighting as much as possible. All this is while Hodgson works with under 100 laps to go. Rich Kleiman, connection flag, so there goes that fuel situation. That dealt with itself pretty quickly.
That's rare. You don't get to see that very often, implemented. Ever since they changed that rule to where that's a big deal, oh boy. it saved a lot of races, but when it does happen, it does surprise you. Look out right here, though. 41 car running up the hill. The car right behind him was interested in putting his nose in the middle again and try to do the free bird, but not necessarily, you know, that's what I'm going to call that move. Anytime you make a move to the middle of a 3-wide situation when you're already running the top or you're already on the bottom and you push it, force it 3-wide, you know, that's what I'm going to call that move. It's called a free bird.
And with these drivers coming up to the final few laps to go in stage 1, everybody might be thinking about that music or thinking of today's Thunder theme, saying, we're going to go through any carnage we see. Right now, Hodgson tries to go himself on the middle of the racetrack still. Look at some of the others move up the racetrack. Outside line, Mesnard's going to lead it this time.
These cars are on a highway to hell looking into the eye of the tiger, man. There you go. That's some more musical references your way, Justin.
Possibly so. I mean, I haven't heard that song in a year, in decades, it feels
Oh,
like.
yeah. It's been a while.
Right now, the middle line taking full control. Currently, Hill and Lynn right now side by side for the top spot in regard, or rather the 10th spot in the stage. Right now, you see that side by side with the 3 wide. That position still up for grabs, but a majority of the top spots in stage 1 could be open. There goes Benefield across the streams. He nearly wrecked the field. 3 and 4 wide. That was a save and a half.
Man, he needs a new pair of britches. That was sketchy. Oh boy, now he's got Mesnard on the back bumper, who we saw spinning earlier in that big wreck. Oh, he just dumped him up out of the way, and now that 83's killed the outside line. It's gone. He's taking Delaney back. He's taking Matthew David Wood in the wrong direction. Maybe they can get a little bit of a run back and make that outside line charge.
Lap car trying to move out of the way, by the way, in all this craziness as they'll move to the outside. That this time is Jose Medina. He rides on the top wall. Coming up towards halfway to go in the race itself. Hodgson will block the inside, base into the middle. Now a hard side draft to peel back the inside.
Hang on, boys. 4 wide there. And make it work. But these guys know what they're doing. We're freaking done, boys.
Now you can see right now Basin really trying to find the power off. See that building up door to door. Right now Basin trying to make sure the run builds up to the bumper. Now gets pushed along, this time by Conklin. Will they show they can mend some wounds from last time out between the two of them? Basin now inside, Conklin on the outside rather. Now as they work their way down through turn 3, they boost their way through with Mesnard's line slowly making up ground.
Oh man, when Mesnard's got the run. Oh, he's also going to bring that 14 car up to the top. It's going to help the outside line for a short while. But now Zodiac's got a little bit of a run. Maybe he'll make advantage of that and goes up towards the top. I'm not sure.
Caution.
Oh, they're wrecking. Big wreck. There we go. And the second big one. Cody Porter's around again. 48 Tyler Hunter. 88 Kumacheski. Caution's going to come out. And that will be the stage, I think.
You're waiting for the call. A lot of cars staying up at the wall. Porter again involved. That's a question from the field. Stage is confirmed. This is the stage.
Yeah, I don't think the 63 knew that they were 3 or 4 wide. It all started around that 63. If we can get a close-up on a 63, who was not... He was a part of the cause, but he didn't actually go around. But that 63 is going to be the car to look at right here. All right.
Yeah.
Through this trioval. You see the checkup on the outside caused him to go 4 wide. 11 car came down into the 63. 63 got loose, tried to correct it, went back up into those cars, and the rest was just calamity.
So 94 to go, this time by the stripe. Right now as this is going, here's a look at how things are sorted. Conklin, Roman, Dyson, Basin, Hill, Hodgson, Hastings, Zodiac, Brickley, Kluot were in the top 10. Here's Pearson's view of it.
Yeah, he just sees cars go spinning in front of him. That's never a good sign. Oh, boy, yeah, it's... Oh, boy. It's not a fun experience when that happens to you. Not at all. You know, there's a car I think that would be fun to ride on board with, I think. I got to triple check. But we're going to... Yes, the 44. He only got a little bit of damage, but I think he kind of had a Moses moment a little bit in this wreck. If we could look at onboard with Cliff. Oh, boy.
Yikes, is all you can say with the incident.
There we go. So he had one heck of a view. He got a little bit of right front damage, but not much. Very, very little contact, but look at how he gets through this.
Yep. Has to get through it fast. Days of Thunder music, everybody.
Woo! It's just a little bit at the end, just a little bit, not much. Yeah, man, if he had like an extra inch, that right front would be fine, 100%. But a little bit of damage, still a cool little ride for Cliff Mullins. And I don't know about you, but one thing about, oh, we got pit stops. Let's talk about that first.
Yep, here we go. A lot of people will take their stops here, and now this is where this race takes a turn. What the stage is. Lap 143 is the next stage. If you do the math, it is not necessarily the distance you can make because there's caution flag on a single tank now. It might just end up being a fuel mileage race.
Hey, you see who just got the win off pit road there?
Yes, I do. Coming off, Jonathan Delaney.
Wow. He was a part of that first green flag pit stop group and that wrecked when they came down pit road for the first time under the green flag. And he's been a lap down for the majority of this first stage. But now he's got his lap back from those cautions early, the big ones, and now he's leading this thing.
So everyone now resets here after what was a busy end of stage one, as we've seen. So at this point, where's your approach going to be, knowing you have to think about the fuel mileage still in stage two because of the caution period time?
It's good. I think it's good. We need to make sure that we have a green flag pit stop. Absolutely. We need it. Green flag pits, or maybe not green flag, but you have to start focusing on when you need to come down. You know you got to do it once. So I'm hoping that folks, when they do choose to come down, it's under green. It's always fun when you get to see those green flag pit stops. It's a challenge for the drivers. And it's probably something that I look forward to the most in these races. When we get Talladega, where you get to go from a 200 mile an hour out of the corner all the way down to 55 or 60 on pit road in just a matter of a football field or a few of them. It's kind of wild. But one thing I was going to mention to you, Justin, I don't know if you've ever heard, you ever watched the movie Surf's Up before? With the penguin movie surfing?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's a really, really old film. Well, at least not old film, but, you know, it's older. Never mind. Don't worry about it. But in the film, they talk about being in the tube. And it's the best feeling a surfer can have. When they're in the middle of surfing a wave, they get sucked into the middle of the tube, and it just feels right. The world's at its perfection in there. And in NASCAR, one of the things that I believe is we have a very something similar, but only in terms of feel, not in terms of like, you know, your chances of winning the race, your chances of missing a wreck. But when we get three wide like we've seen today, Justin, where there's 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 all the way back, and if you're like maybe the 6th car in line in the middle lane, you got 8 rows of cars behind you, 6 rows of cars in front of you, all 3 wide, you have nowhere to go. to me, that is one of the most fun experiences you get to have in a race car, because you get to feel like you're on the edge of control, inches apart from anybody. One small mistake can take out the entire pack, and it's under control. That is being in the tube. And at a super speedway, it feels the same way. So it's something I've been wanting to mention. And next time we get this 3 wide stuff going on, I might ask if we can go on board with someone in the middle. I'll tell you who when it happens, if we get a chance at it. But it is a hell of a feeling when you're in the middle and you can't do anything. It's a beautiful feeling, though.
So we're coming up to 91 to go. So here's the split up. You're talking about 143. You do the math here. That will bring us to about a total of just under 50 laps, about 46-ish, give or take. So this field going to be in a tight box for the rest of this stage. With the caution, they will need a yellow to make sure they can make it probably. Back underway. Now it's going to be Delaney trying to figure things out up front as a sea of Toyotas behind him.
Very organized on the top line. It's just that early restart, the bottom line always gets the advantages up to speed because he can't carry momentum out of the gate for the top lane, but it will develop down the back, and it might happen here. Raymond Root's trying to go make a third line even.
Yeah, you see
Pulls
how
back
much,
in line.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of these two all night. The 2 precision cars that made the field this evening.
First time I saw them all day, really.
Yep, you can tell how much some of the drivers are really trying to find a way to gather up. Hastings, who works for Tricon, by the way. He's now making his way up to the field. Looking like he's finding a little bit of confidence to stay up front.
I wouldn't expect folks to try and save gas to the finish here, but I do notice one thing. And that is that there's kind of a pack of 4 cars that are hanging back, and I think that they were the ones that may have had damage to the wreck, so I'll disregard it too much. But Stephen Williams, Dustin Hall, Jose Medina, and Jedi Taylor, all 4 cars losing the draft, but they're going to be packed together here for the stage 2.
Yep, all of them still sorting themselves quickly. So, as they tick away here, now, do you want to ride in the back or the front knowing the ramifications? It looks like a lot of people are really trying to save. Others are carrying 200 miles an hour.
I wouldn't want to save enough. I don't think saving fuel is the way to go. I mean, that's the whole point of this whole stage get up is to stop the fuel save option. So at this point, if they're doing it and they can make it, it's stunning if they can do it. But, man, I really hope it doesn't.
Yep, so a lot of people to the middle of the racetrack now to keep themselves clean. Will say, as they go about here, you can tell a few of the drivers are going to be thinking about the game plan late in the going. Right now, you see Raymond Root now getting confidence in Root. One of the offensive precision these days in the 51 car. Willing to give a push to Conklin here. Right now, Corey Moore in the Pay RPA machine, also doing a good job to ride on behind. So slowly but surely, they're trying to go. And as they're saying, Conklin's saying, please push harder. See right now, Root just trying all his might to get them as far as possible. There's only so much you can do.
It took every ounce of my being not to say it, but there you go. What am I? Now you got, I'm noticing this year is different than years prior, where normally it would either be the bottom or the top that was dominant. But now it's just that middle lane just seems to be the go-to spot. It's just all since the beginning, it's been that middle lane. Now, I'm just waiting to see who's going to jump up to the top and try to make a third lane work. I'm looking at drivers like maybe Porter, who was involved in the last couple incidents, but now is running on the top towards the back. Maybe he might get a group of folks to try and jump up to the top with Dave Hoitzman, maybe a Villa can join him. But I don't know. We're going to have to find out.
Absolutely, as the time ticks away here. As things plant themselves about, mind you, a lot of the drivers involved in some of the incidents going to have to claw their way up back eventually. And as the drivers continue to build their confidence here, one of the major things going to be interesting is making sure you don't pick up any more incident points here tonight, because already a couple drivers are flirting with that. Cody Porter, I think, is one of those. It's going to have to be very careful, running right now top half of the field, top 20 at least. Some of the others definitely going to have to play the careful game if they want to avoid any more trouble. Porter is running in the mid-pack.
I mean, it's amazing that he can go around spinning twice, not get as much damage as he'd think he was going to get, and still stay out there and contend. I mean, stay in the pack. Really does surprise me, and I like seeing it. It's good that he's still able to hang on to it and keep it going. But some drivers have not tonight. So far, I see a total of 7 cars that are out of the race. Michael Tucker, Neil Pearson, Wesley Napier, Alan Duggar, Rich Kleiman, and Chad Sanner are those drivers that are currently out of the race, with only 1 car 1 lap down. That is Devin Medeiros.
Medeiros has not had the best of nights starting to remove from pit road. Didn't work out at all for him this evening. He's right now just hoping someone bring the caution. It be not me. Wood is right now ranked 25th. Always clutch and coasting at Dega.
Yeah, fuel safe. Why change anything? It's not going to change the way drivers think. They're going to try and save no matter what. Forget the stage lengths. Good God. Changing of the lead, though.
Yes,
Roman
indeed.
dropping back.
Yep. Yet again, it's pacing up front. All while the top 3 are now Toyotas, possibly now top 6 or 7, making top 8. The 71's been going up there too.
71 hasn't had a taste of clean air yet today, but he has been in the top 5 a few times. I've seen that 71 Truel be there. You know, once he gets some clean air, I think that might be a benefit to him. But then again, I'm also looking towards the back of this main line. And those cars that are saving, it's obvious that they're saving, right? You know, they're not pushing the bottom lane as hard as you normally see it. So I think that that's going to be a factor to keep in mind. Folks are going to be saving where they can, and you know, pushing whenever they don't have to save. Right now, some of them still think they can make it. Maybe not. There will be a time when that you'll see some drivers change the way they drive in an instant. But for right now, it seems rather calm here at Dega. 2 wide is the most that we see throughout. Top 5 have really single filed out up at the front. And really only a handful of cars have lost the lead pack, and the only ones that have that I see, Wesley Napier is one of them in the 52. You also got the 98 of Williams, 88 of Kumacheski, who was up front for a little while, but now he's lost the lead draft. You can see these guys are all the folks that are way behind the leaders. They're going to need a lot of help to be able to get their cars back up towards the front. Most likely going to need that stage break. As more cars that are lapped down, Neil Pearson, who had a bunch of damage there in 62, goes by on the outside for Black Flag Motorsports. Single file, though, for the middle lane again. A lot of cars. Very few choosing to go on the bottom. And if you are, I think you're looking for a spot in the middle. Noticing the leader, though, Basin, do something interesting with his line that last time out of turn 2. he arced his way down from the middle lane, down into the bottom, and then back up to the middle again. I don't know if that's going to change again, but that 58, yeah, right here. See, he goes down to the bottom and then goes right back up to the front. So I'm guessing that is, you know, giving air to the 58, his teammate, so that way they can cool the radiator down, not blow up. But it also gives air to the bottom lane. Raymond Root's leading it right now. I'm sure he'd like to get a little bit more of that, so that way he can have a chance to battle up towards front. And in this little pack here, just to give you a number here, folks, there are 31 cars in this lead pack, 31 of them. We started with 43 today. We're down to 31 on the lead pack. It's just a matter of time before we see some more pit stops, too. They get to make that decision when they want to come down. Some might not even try to pit at all. Some folks might just try and stay out and save enough gas and make it to the end. Drivers like 16, 20, 48 maybe. And the 67 of June Salim might be one of those as well, trying to save as much gas as humanly possible. You're on board with him now. He's at the tail end of the field. And this is one of my favorite places to run in super speedways. Not my absolute favorite, but it is one of my favorites because you get to see everything. You're up close viewer right there. And it also allows you to see the mess before it happens, and you can get on the brakes without worry of getting run over from behind. When you're riding at the back and you got no one on your tail, it just feels like you got a little bit more safety that you can use, a little safety buffer. You can use the brakes a little bit more. But it also has a negative part too there, where if you're like Hutchinson here in the middle of the pack, you can't get on the brakes right away because you're going to get run over from behind. The only tool you have to miss wrecks when you're running where Hutchinson is your steering wheel. You can try and lift, but slamming on the brakes only means you're going to get rear-ended. To a point, of course. But now look at that. Man, that bottom line is just dying out. Gotten all the way back past the 83 of Benefield. The top 10 have single filed out in the middle. Tries to go down to the bottom now. Benefield's trying to lead that bottom line. Maybe he can start bringing it back up towards the front. Quiet today, by the way, is that 37 car, Zodiac. He's been sitting in the wings, kind of just chilling here around 10th. Hasn't really made too much noise today, but he's been sitting with Billy Brickley in the 00. Billy Brickley's made a little bit of noise, got up to second for a little while, led a couple laps. But that 37 car has just been quiet, running middle, and not really getting in anybody's way today. And, you know, that's all you really got to do to stay in the race. You know, try and stick around to the end to have a shot at this. You don't have to be up front making a lot of noise to have a chance. But now we got this 3 wide starting to move up. Here comes Mesnard on the top, pushing the 00 Brickley. This is the first time I've seen anyone trying to go up to the outside line so far. Four cars up there on the top trying to make it work, but I'm not seeing that working out very well at all. It's Tanner Marty up there, Mesnard, Billy Brickley, and William Owens, and they're just going the wrong direction for now, but that could change. Like right here, I think that they just got a little bit of momentum now that they got the Tyler Hunter and June Salim machines on the back bumper. Oh, look out. Tyler Hunter almost got the 30 car spun around. Yeah, the outside line's just not going to work. Top line's not working right now. They needed a really quick car to go up to the top, and, you know, Brickley's quick today, but not as fast as he needs to be able to lead that outside line, and not enough pushes going on from behind him. So that outside line just dropped out, and now battle for second. Here comes Benefield, who made his way from 10th all the way up to third, now second, going for the lead on the top side. Again, down the back straightaway on lap 114. Pennefield takes the lead back over, getting pushed by Conklin and Vroman. A lot of good cars right here on your screen. Championship contenders, each one of them. Again, I'm going to reiterate that 41 car of Andrew Dyson going from the back to the front and also coming back from a lap down and a penalty, and now he's 4th car in line on the top lane. Great recovery for him, and there's multiple cars that are like that. 6-car Delaney is another one. Had a very similar start to this day as well. You're looking at the 42 right now. 42 car. Hadn't really talked about him much. Corey Moore there. Started 30th, moves up to a top 10 spot right now, battling on the bottom, trying to carry the momentum forward. And I think that bottom line is actually starting to move forward a little bit more. And the speed of this whole pack is really picking up even more. We're getting up to the point where now they're hitting 200 miles an hour on the straights, going into the corners. Some folks are. So, again, I think that fuel save might be slowly out the window. If anyone's saved enough, they think they would have saved enough by now. They think that they're good to go. But the one I'm referencing right now to look at for that would be the 16 car Matthew David Wood. Once we know what he does, we'll know in terms of saving. He was the one who was clutching earlier. Still clutching, so still saving back there. Side by side for lead right now up front. Kolmachewski's going to get lapped in the 88 car going backwards. And you can see new leader Conklin. They've just been trading the lead all day long today. I don't think the 88's going to be able to tag onto the back of the pack here. Yeah, nope, he's lost the draft, so that 88's out of the draft. He will have to hope that this next pack will catch him or caution will come out to save him. But up front, whoa, look at that 58 car going up the block. The outside line, his teammate, Nolan Hodgson. Ryko's trying to control both lanes. 2 cars on the top, 1 car on the bottom. Oh, a little loose, little contact from Root. Got that car loose. Bason's on the apron. Something's going on to the 84. Stays on the apron going into 1. Something's going on with that 84 right now. He's got loose and he chose not to go back up the racetrack. Now the question is why? He had a chance. He could have gone back up if he wanted to, but it was a little bit of a risk, but not a huge risk. Interesting choice. We'll have to find out how he's able to recover from that. He can. We've seen it all day, people with recovery stories. Lap 118, coming to lap 119 right now. Bobby Anderson in the 5 tries to make a 3rd lane on the very top. He's getting pushed by Brandon Hastings, last night's winner. Billy Brickley trying to make the top line work again. 3 cars on the very top. Anybody choosing to go with him? I think that 25 would be interested. Maybe the 14 Kluot might choose to jump up with him. I think that outside line's going to start getting some momentum. That 97 of Lucas Hoytsman's just tagged onto the caboose, and we know he's fast. Here he goes. Yep, that outside line's coming. It's on a huge run towards the front. People are just going to start bobbing and weaving. Look out up front. That outside line's going to be taking over any moment now. Will the 58 go up the block? Does not look like it right now. Hoytsman goes from the very top down to the very bottom, leading the bottom lane now. Maybe he'll be able to jump up into that. Side by side for the lead now. As Nolan Hodgson jumps up in front of the 5 car, who hasn't been back up here since the very beginning of the race. First time we've seen Bobby Anderson back in the top 5. Things are picking up. Wouldn't you look at that? 37 of Zodiac. Going up now, has a chance at a top 5 if he's able to carry the momentum here. He's going to be stuck in the middle, though. And now Dylan Basin, we saw him have to drop back after going below the yellow line. He's recovered since then, and guess what? He's leading the bottom lane. He's getting a good shove from Lim, and it's going to be pushing him all the way to the front, I think. We're going to be 3 wide for a handful of lanes again, thank God. I was waiting on that. Once they get enough momentum right here, you can see Brandon Hastings. This is in the tube. When you got nowhere you could really go, and you're just stuck right in the middle, this right here, it's one of the most fun feelings for me when I'm in a race car. Chaotic up towards the front, but you can't go anywhere. You're kind of stuck. It's... Oh, look out. 87's loose in front of him. Benefield tried to save it. He does, but up front, Nolan Hodgson and that outside line's taking over it, but now we got a lap car coming in. 40 car Jose Medina. Look out, 4 wide.
See how the chaos is building up here. Apologies there for the step away. Had a personal emergency for a moment. The rest of the field trying to make sure they don't have their own emergencies pop up here. Will they say, Kirk? A lot of spotter calls popping up on the radio.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I haven't seen that very much here. What I have seen is just going from one single file middle lane to now 3 lanes. People choosing all different which ways to go to try and get towards the front. And it's what brought Billy Brickley back to the front, Bobby Anderson back to the front. And the thing is that there's always the same cars. Oh, look how little loose there in the middle of the corner. Cars had to check up big time. Almost wrecked, saves the car, keep it going straight. But what I was saying is that the same cars that were up front leading this thing the majority of the time are still there. Benefield, Conklin, Vroman, and now Dyson's gotten up there, and also Nolan Hodgson as well. These guys have just been up towards the front most of the day, and they're able to manipulate the lines and the runs and keep them up towards the front competitive.
Yep, seeing that right now in particular, as we're right now under 20-ish laps to go in the stage. Here in this one, the run's already up to 28, coming to 29 laps on the gas tanks. I started getting some help with Basin here. And right now, at the speeds they're carrying, it almost feels like these drivers aren't necessarily thinking about the fuel the way they're racing. They're carrying speeds like they would normally if they're just trying to push full tempo here. Look at some of these blocks, too, for it.
Yeah, the 95 of Roman made a huge run on the top to try and get by the 58. Now 58's going to be put in the sucker hole in the middle. 58 of Conklin did not react quick enough there. Unfortunately, he's stuck in the sucker hole, and now you can see those 3 Conti cars working together in the middle lane. They take over that spot and put Conklin back 4th car in line in the middle. But Conklin jumps up to the top and now leads the outside lane.
Yep, you see Conklin just trying to find a way to get the rhythm going here in the midst of this. From will take the chance to power around. Paul Hill jumps his way to the race lead with all this. Hill's only led 1 lap so far tonight over the course of this one. Benefield will now work to the middle. A little bit of 4 wide for a moment as Vrum's taking up the middle. Nicholas Vroman panics on the radio.
He doesn't have any help there. He's top of the sandwich. There you go. He's the cheese on the hamburger. That wasn't very good. Oh, good Lord. Loses a bunch of spots. He's going to have to take some time to recover. And if you've never heard that expression, the cheese of the hamburger, it's bun, meat, cheese, bun. That's the 3rd lane there for you.
Absolutely seeing that in particular right now for some of the drivers as Conklin will lose momentum up the top group with all that. Tyler Hunter, remember, was one of the drivers demolished with pit road, was 42nd at one point. He's now up amongst the front runners late in this stage. Those hit by lap traffic 3-4 wide again. Will anybody have contact? No, but Hunter, as a result, will be the second car middle.
Mesnard, where did he come from? He had the lead for a little while, that 73, but he just got left out the drive from the 83 rather, and now he's stuck in the sucker hole in the middle. Heavy pushes coming from Zodiac in the middle, and that middle lane is just a sucker hole right now, sending you straight to the back when you get there.
We're seeing that right now with Mesnard getting pushed right back immediately. Now it's Daiso in front. Now he gets shuffled. Oh, that's borderline Conklin went under the old line trying to make the pass.
That looked a lot like that pass Hamlin did coming to the checkers here a handful of years ago. They called that illegal. I don't think they're going to do it here. I don't think it was too egregious, but I didn't see it 100%, so I might need to go back and look at it. But it's just too chaotic to go and look at a replay like that for right now. Oh, look out. Roman almost got turned by the 11. Oh, gosh, 58 almost got turned by Graves.
See right now, Graves amongst those hard charging back. Remember, Graves started on the pole in this race, was involved in one of the first crashes down pit road, has not been in the conversation since.
How? Oh, there goes the 84 on the front bumper of Mesnard. He saves the car, but he's going to probably lose the draft. Or maybe not. Holy cow, he kept a lot of momentum, but I still think he's going to lose the draft.
There he goes. Basin zips back onto the racetrack, and now will blend in at the very back of the field. That was a huge save by Basin. Lucky he didn't get clipped by anybody else.
Mesnard just... Probably his pushes are aggressive, but he's gotten back up to the lead twice now. I mean, that 73 is showing off a little bit. I like seeing it. That's cool. Way to go, Evan.
Yep, and here we go again. Mesnard this time around in the middle of the corner. Caution flag is out. No one else really, for the most part, joins in. We had one at least make contact with Mesnard after that. Now it's Delaney who's hitting the wall from it. Caution flag is out.
Golly, Evan, you just had the lead. You got into the car Basin there. Got him spun around, and what happened to you this time? Let's see what happened here. 41 car, Dyson. Let's see it. Oh, very similar situation to what happened with the car previous. Hit Casey Graves, and he got on the brakes trying to save the car a little too hard. I mean, he could have probably saved it even more, but the 6 car comes back up the hill, hits the outside wall. William Owens involved, but I think only really a 3-car incident there, maybe 4.
So, let's take a look at how Delaney got collected. That car that clapped into the rear end of the 73, by the way, was William Owens. Here's Delaney. Remember, one of the drivers trying to regather some momentum here. And dodge. Evasive action.
Not much. Not much damage at all. I'm sure you can recover from that. We've already seen it happen once today already. Sure it could happen again here as Medeiros is going to get his lap back. I bet he's happy about that. Oh, wait. What is he doing? Revving his engine there on the outside of the pace car. I've got news for you, buddy. Nobody's driving that car right now.
Hasn't gotten the command to go around the pace car yet. I think he's just ready to floor it the second he gets that.
Floor it? That's a SpongeBob quote right there. Disregard it.
Not going to do it yet, but this does get everybody good to go on fuel for the rest of the stage. And here's the big one, too. It depends on how things go for the final stage blend through on the laps, but this may end up being a one-stopper the rest of the way. It depends, though, on if you top off at the end of the stage or if you stay on the racetrack and try and pit towards the middle of stage 3. first out of the lane. Adam Benefield screams of no for Sean Conklin with his pits call. Bobby Anderson came out amongst those in the top 3 on the race off pit road.
It's something surprising to see that 5 car back up towards the front again. Remember, most of the race he's been in the back half of the field, but he kind of had a moment where he went up to the top lane, worked with a few cars, and was able to push his way back up into the top group of cars. And that 5 car just never ceases to surprise me. And I'm just happy to see it.
Drivers have been telling the field, hey, can we please tone down on voice chat, is what race control has just said. They want things to be a little bit more, should I say, civil. And because there has been a lot of chitter chatter this race, a lot more than the rest of the race.
Yeah, it was a little odd.
And
jibber jabber.
Oh, by the way, they just muted Adam Benefield's chat because apparently Benefield was trying to tell Bobby Anderson that he's back in the top 3.
And then he re-enabled the chat. So,
yeah,
that was interesting.
I think he's just trying to prove the point of, let's take this seriously. In other words, time to get the kitty gloves off. It's time to get the race gloves on. So, overall, what are your thoughts on how tonight's gone so far? Because we're coming up to 57 to go. It's a one-stopper the rest of the way, no matter one of the gas. It's been a really interesting one as we have a tech issue for one of the EPI cars. It's the 67 with a potential, yes, indeed, connection flag.
2 in a race. Man, they're starting to crack down on that. That sucks for the 67, though. He was, having a decent day. Not up front that much, but he had gotten to the front a few times. And, man, he's fast. I'm sure he'll recover from it. He just manually disconnected. Never mind. His recovery has just decided to stop right then in that moment.
So, up at the front, it's Benefield and Daiso, Anderson and Conklin, Fluot and Hunter, Hutchinson and Hill, Vroom and Wood, Hoytsma and Zosiak. Among some of the front drivers for the restart. We are still running with a decent amount of cars, by the way. We have, including the 67, 5 out of the race. Not bad for Talladega.
Not bad at all. We're about to get this restart, though, man. And what I'm noticing is 34 cars, maybe actually it's going to be 33, rather. 33 cars, I believe, on the lead lap. June Salim might be a lap down by the time they get back on the green. He just came back, so Dustin Hall will be the last one on the lead lap, it looks like. 33 cars, all with a inkling of a shot to win the race here today.
Indeed, here as we get ready for the restart. Here we go again with the chitter chatter over the radio. I mean, there's a counterpoint. Your CEO Steve O'Donnell for NASCAR said today that they're looking to make some moves and have some fun. I think that's kind of the mindset of the field itself tonight here in the FLCC. A lot of them revving up for the restart zone for the green. Benefield gave a count and it wasn't even in sync to his gas pedal.
44 Mullins is also way off the pace on the apron of the racetrack right now, too. Something's going on with the 44.
Yeah, he is. What is going on here? It is. It's like he's got no power. It's like he's got no gas pedal.
Maybe he's stuck in gear. I mean, maybe his gear shift's screwed. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't have a monitor. Well, he just lost connection to the sim. So Mullins is now out of the race, making 6 off track. There's a lot of various issues. But right now we're coming to 10 to go, stage 2. Hutchinson looking to fly. Here comes the push now to Vrooman. Vrooman trying to get some help to go to the front. Benefield, his teammate, blocks him off.
That's going to open the door now for the 5 car. Bobby Anderson, owner of this league, going to be trying to go and lead some laps here at Talladega.
Right now, you see the rumble is on for Benefield with the help of Vrooman. Right now, Hutchinson going to push. Goes on Dyson. 3 of the top 4 now in the middle line are Conti cars. They all get themselves clear. No one taking the chance to go down yet as Anderson builds his momentum inside.
Yeah, Kluwat's not really giving him much of a push. That's going to open the door now for a car to jump down, and that car is Ralph Hutchinson in the 19 jumping down to lead the bottom lane now. See if he can get a push in the 5 car back up towards the front. They're going to pass lap car June Salim there. They're going to be 4 wide in the back of the back here going into turn number 1 and 2. Look out, folks.
Look at this. The turns to the intensity with 4 wide. Lap car in the wall. Lim trying to get out of the way. Moves out and gets himself out of trouble, but only just. Now the Ryko cars go up front. Benefield blocks off Conklin. Conklin pushes Benefield out of the way. Benefield nearly gets turned 3 times with the pushes.
Oh, this ain't going to end well, man. You can't... Those guys kind of race hard, and eventually it might come back to bite them. I don't like this at all. It's getting antsy.
Can't you tell there's points on the line? People really like points here. And right now, the top 4, once again, bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. Right now, Wenzel's pulling hard, by the way, on the side draft is Delaney, who is 5th in that line. Hodgson the first to move down to the middle with that. Will get the run for the race lead himself. Can he get the chance to move in front of Benefield? No. Conklin gives a shove. Now it's Hunter getting the run with the help of Hutchinson. Back and forth we go. Count of 52 to go in the race itself.
Take a look at who's leading that bottom line right there. Tyler Hunter in a 48 car is going to try and make it 3 wide for the lead. We haven't seen him in the lead all day long today. Where's he come from in that 48 car? Tyler Hunter is going to try and take the lead off turn 4.
Tyler Hunter trying to find the edge right now. You see the boost coming up for the 48. A little bit of 4 wide with Benefield squeezing. They're going to have to settle that fast. Benefield up the track. All the spotters probably letting their radios go alight as Benefield drops to the back. It's still 3 wide, multiple rows deep. Now, Vrooman getting some heavy pushes from Dyson.
Big shuffle for Benefield. He got shuffled out by Conklin. Conklin was able to get by him, and now it's a 3 by 3 all the way through the field. And Dyson got, sorry, let's try that again. Benefield got sent way back to the back as they're still 3 wide, but Tyler Hunter still is the surprise of the day right now in this top 5. Did not expect that 48 car to be where he is.
Yep, you see how much Conklin trying to play the lines right now to the inside now. Hunter tries to get some assistance. Right now, Bason's got a lot of assistance from Delaney. Coming up to what will be about 6 to go this time by in stage 2. Mind you, the pushes have been so hard, Hodgson actually demolished his rear bumper. They have been obliterating each other's bumpers with how much they've been trying to push hard. Delaney's saying he's blowing up all of a sudden. Now Delaney has to back off.
Oh, they're wrecking Junso Lim, I think, in the 67 car spinning in turns 3 and 4. I don't think they're going to bring out the caution. Yes, it does. Caution is out. It was a black car. I thought it could be the 67. It could be someone else. But they spun out in the middle of the pack there. Actually, at the tail, it may have been the 81. We're going to triple check here to find out. Happened entering turn 3, a black car.
See it right here.
Oh, but Hastings. Oh, it was Hastings. Thought it was the 67, but no, it was the other car. Let's see what happened to the 81 this time.
Keep an eye on this. Hastings was inside the top 5 just a few minutes ago, mind you. Drop back, trying to ride his own time at the back, and then trouble sometimes finds a way to you.
The huge checkup on the outside line. I knew that was coming. Oh, 81 shot the gap. Shot the gap. Tried to go to the middle, and the 04 was there, made contact, and that's what ended up happening. Got up into the outside wall. And, yeah, that will do it. Not a fun situation to get, and hard damage to recover for the 81 of Hastings.
This is not the stage. Race control is confirmed, by the way, on the radio. So we're going to have a couple lap shootout, Kirk, for good measure to secure stage points. That actually helps out the fuel strats for stage 3 to potentially be a near end of the race for a fuel tank. As now becomes the question, does anybody take a risk here? I don't think we see a risk of a pit stop this late in the stage, and knowing this would not get you to the end on gas either way.
So here's what I think would be good. It depends on the situation. Folks are still going to come down pit road no matter what at the end of the stage. But these folks in the back, exactly what I was expecting. These guys in the back, they're not going to get any stage points. So coming down, topping off on gas, getting tires now is good. Because what they're going to do is next time when the stage comes out, they're going to come down pit road and just top off on gas only. They don't need to get anything, and their pit stops will be super short. Just the top off on gas, and they're good to go. And once they're good to go, they're going to be able to pick up a few spots, might be able to go from the back of the pack to the mid pack. That's why they're coming down pit road right now is what I estimate, or trying to get some damage repaired from previous incidents.
So off and away goes some of the drivers topping off here at the back or taking some tire repairs or tire changes. So on that note, we're going to have what is going to essentially be a 2-lap dash for stage number 2's points here. Conklin and Hunter with the 1 and 2 spots. Then it's Roman and Hodgson, Dyson and Basin, Hill and Hoytsma, Lucas Hoytsma specifically, Jonathan Delaney, and Zodiac is still hanging top of the top 10.
Having a day, that Kevin Zodiac is. He had a moment earlier this year where he was doing really well in a top 10 spot. I'm trying to remember what track it may have been at. I think it might have been Atlanta. It could have been another track. But he got up to the top 10. We interviewed him for a moment. And then, it was kind of cool because it's not every day that we got a chance to talk to Kevin Zodiac up here in the booth. Sitting P10 right now. Hasn't really made much of a move towards the front. Further forward, the most I've seen him was 6th place today so far. That's the highest I've seen that 37 run. But he's been clean. He hasn't gotten on anybody's nerves that I could tell. It seems like he was doing a good job. And, just want to give him a shout out. 10th place, not bad. I know he can do a little better, though. I know he could try and win his race. William Owens is another driver who I think needs to get a little bit of a shout out. Because normally that 30 car, he has a rough habit of not being able to get to the end of these races. And he's in a good position to be able to do that today, don't you think, Justin?
Possibly so, indeed. I'm very curious how this is going to go for a lot of these drivers, absolutely, though. By the time we get to stage 3, when the points are definitely on the line, for the race win on the line, for the King of the Super Speedway championship points to the line that way, it's quite simple. Which driver is going to be able to be in the right spot here? And we've seen how chaotic things can be. If you let the field race, they are willing to really slice and dice a lot. You have to be so cutthroat with the way things have gone tonight.
Points are points. People are going to race for it up towards the front. But I'll be honest with you, man. Talladega. That's the trophy I want. I want to be able to say I won at Talladega. And that's something that I think every one of these drivers in this field would love to say. But that's what I focus on right here. I know for a fact that these folks that are still here in the top group and still on the lead lap have a chance to become a winner at Talladega against a very, very good group of drivers. And one thing is that if you're able to do it, people will see you differently after that. Like, you won yourself a race at Talladega. That's freaking fantastic. Good for you. And you get looked at a little different. But winning that race means more than, to points right now for most of this field. Most of this field knows they're not going to try and go for a championship. Maybe half the field on back. No, championship's kind of out of their reach. But they know race wins are possible, especially at the super speedways, Daytona, Atlanta, in Talladega. Today's one of those days where anyone can do it. Tyler Hunter right now on the outside of the front row is the driver that comes to mind. He's going to have a good shot to be able to win the stage here. And if he's able to continue staying up front, might even have a shot at the win.
So it's a 2-lap dash to go in the stage. Let's find out how this is going to go. Who gets the stage 2 victory? I don't think it's solidified whatsoever with the way things have gone tonight. It is going to be a wild one. Pace car already has dropped down. It's Conklin in control for the restart. Green flag is out, back on the way. Looks like the 95 got the count. Outside road 2 didn't go, and we're under caution. That's the stage. Back of the field stacked up, and that is the end of stage 2.
Wasn't that anticlimactic, wasn't it? We were talking it up, getting excited for a 2-lap dash, and they didn't make it 200 yards.
I don't know what happened here other than somebody tried to jump it. Somebody didn't know that was the game plan when they ran into the inedible brick wall.
Oh, Bryce Reiner. Oh boy. Let's go on board with that 20. Can we ride on board with that 25? Yeah, this is going to be the view right here.
Just, when you're doing this, what are you trying to do, Kirk?
Well, right now he's trying to catch up to the field. We know we're about to get to the green. You know, I would have gotten closer to the car in front, but it feels like he's holding back a little bit. Gets on the gas early, gets a little bit of a jump. He didn't expect it that big of a jump, and yep. You know, I've always said that these, these restart crashes where folks are timing it, and this, I mean, he's trying to game the system. It's not a bad thing, you know. It's not against the rules what he did. People do this in the fixed NIS series a lot, where they'll try and time it just right. Here's your second, what do they call that? Second stage results right here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Conklin getting it over Hunter. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is going to be half a second on the interval, but obviously that is where they basically were finished up at the stage. Vroman, followed by Dyson, then Hudson, Hill, Basin, followed by Delaney, Lucas Hoytsma, Billy Brickley. All across the line inside the top 10. Feel a little bit bad for Zosiak that lost him a point there. But here is the tough part. Remember that fuel save conversation we would have had if we went green? Now they're going to have to save an extra 2 laps of gas here.
That's true. That's true. That's not going to help if they want to fuel save. I'm hoping that they don't. Hoping we stay green to the finish. You know what I mean? Oh, man.
I think everyone's going to say the same thing. Absolutely here. Now, you have to think a top-off's going to come into play here.
I don't know. Some folks might try it. Some might not. I mean, I wish I had the answers there, but I really don't. It's something that each team will have to decide for themselves.
So, here's an error call. Take, for example, the top-offs that we're hoping something may have happened to change things up a bit. Weren't going to be in the fuel window. Tanner Marti and Raymond Roach just got the top 2 because of the caution here. They're 1-2 on the track.
Kind of had a feeling that was going to be an option here. Those folks that came down pit road that we were talking about the strategy for, luckily they didn't have to run the 2 laps. So they didn't use much gas at all. Just coast and save all this time, and maybe half a lap is really the only big difference. It's not much, especially under caution.
Yeah, this has turned into a predicament, has it now on the strategy? Mind you, some of the estimates I'm seeing are 38 laps right now, and that's without fuel save being factored in here, even with the pace laps. We know they can go about 40-ish, realistically. You're asking the field to basically, could he pace laps go 45, 46 laps here, Kirk? I don't know if we're going to save 6 laps unless you are Michael McDowell here.
Cautions change everything. The ratio. Yeah,
And
we got a couple
top-offs.
cars coming down to top off. Of course they were. But I will say that there are some folks that I think would argue, because of the changes that they had made, where this stage length was going to be as long as it is, didn't think that being able to pit or save enough gas to make it to this point was going to be in the realm of possibility. But if we get a caution within this time frame, say in the first 10 laps, the ratio, I think, I could be completely off here. I thought it was 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, meaning every lap under caution you could save 4 real life laps, or 3 laps left. 1 to 2 rather. 1 to 2. That's it. I was wondering what it was. So you can save an extra couple laps every time you get a caution lap, so it's better. It's not exact. I don't know the exact number. It just depends on the driver too, because some drivers can save way better than others. One caution can really make a difference here.
One caution absolutely is going to be, I think, what everyone's hoping for, to make sure they don't have to come down to strategy. Then it becomes a bonanza for the race win. If it comes down to strategy, it's going to be a lot more of a calmer run, to say the least. By the way, with this series coming up here, we're talking about, it's been a busy run so far this season. Remember, this is following the real world schedule. That real world schedule next time out brings us to, are you ready? It's the Lone Star 400 at Texas.
Texas. You should have heard of our producer just now going, yippee. That was awesome. Yeah, Texas. Beautiful country, beautiful part of the country. Got to say that.
Everything's bigger in Texas. So, as we get set, 43 to go. Few drivers already settling things out. Let's see what Tanner does here now. First time up in the race lead. Raymond Root, first time up in the top 10 tonight, outside of one exception. Green flag is out, back on her way, and the 29 gets the launch. The 51 gets the push. Evan Mesnard on the bumper.
See how long this lasts. Oh, back of the field, huge checkups, problems going on back here.
All right, here in a missed shift, possibly that Jason S. Taylor really slowed up there. You've got to be aware of those shifts in a series like this, and look at the pack difference.
Split the field up in 2. 29 Tanner Marty on back until you get to, I believe that's the 88 of Kulmacheski, by the way, who is multiple laps down. He's 2 laps down right now at the tail end of that first pack. And then you get a huge line of cars from the 88 on back to, I think that's Junsa Lim, who is also 3 laps down. So kind of a weird situation they're in right now.
Rickley now the race leader again. Up in front a little bit earlier on tonight. Now gets himself up there for a second time. Look at how things are stagnating here. 52.8's up at the front of the field. 53 second lap times the first couple. Some of these drivers really just trying to go full out. It's not major save time for the front of the field at all. In fact, looking at some of the miles per hour, nobody is in heavy fuel save conservation efforts right now. It's not like they're back into the 80s to save.
I'm kind of putting drivers in the top 10 into 2 categories right now. Drivers who I think are normally in contention for wins, and then the underdogs. Right now, leading this race, Billy Brickley, he's an underdog, no doubt about it. You normally wouldn't expect to see him up towards the front. Super Speedways puts him in a position where he can be. He's leading over Conklin, who is someone who we regularly expect to see do really well. Basin, same thing, expect to see do really, really well. Casey Graves is a underdog. You're going to see that 01 car who started on the pole, underdog getting a pole, and still being in the top 5 this late in the race, stunning. Mesnard there, the 29 of Marty. Those guys are underdogs. Root's an underdog. 48's an underdog, too.
Paxaroy converged back after originally slowing them significantly. Now everybody has gotten up to full saw with everything said and done. We have 40 laps to go. Green light on fuel if we get a caution period from here on out. Looking at some of the drivers like Vroman and Munstos hanging out in the middle of the field. Remember, the further back you go, the better the fuel save efforts you can have here if you want.
Long single file line here on the bottom, though. You can see Matthew David Wood, who we've seen up in the top 5 a lot of this race, saving a whole lot of gas right at the tail end of the field with Adam Benefield right in front of him.
You see how much some of the drivers are really trying to back it down here while trying to make sure they maintain the pack. This is the most difficult part. Trying to clutch and coast at Talladega while maintaining the speed. And at least to me, it's all about how much input you have on the throttle. 3/4 throttle might be in play for some of the drivers back here at the back. But you gotta make sure you stay connected somewhat. You lose connection, it becomes mute. Up at the front, by the way, some of the others shuffle and dance. It's Root now on the inside line leading. It's Brickley who's getting shuffled back. See right now how things continue up at the front of the field as Conklin now is controlling the point of the field. As they run low on time here to plot and plan here, what do you think is going to the mind of save Root? First time really having the chance to contend up at the very front here. You know the wild point, I think you just mentioned this. Remember the thought process of the stage lengths was to prevent the fuel save? The funny thing is, both stages ended tonight in a way where you still had to fuel save if you wanted to actually get it done. And that's the fascinating part of tonight, just because the early caution flags in the end of the stage.
I mean, they should just eliminate the fuel save entirely. This did not do that. This created half the field saving, half the field pushing. And it's only going to last as long until someone gets impatient or someone gets a little frustrated knowing that they might run out of gas and be a little too aggressive and have a car go around. I mean, it's simple and easy to do that. Number one rule of stock car racing, learn how to wreck somebody without wrecking yourself. And also, you can make it not look like you did it on purpose. I mean, there's so many ways you can do it. Not saying it's going to happen, but saying that that's something that would come across my mind. If I was in the lead, 10 to go and I knew I was going to run out of gas, I'd start thinking about it.
I think so. You see how much the Pied Piper effect's coming into play for Conklin. Now remember the Pied Piper effect? You're basically like Dale Sr. or Dale Jr. or in particular Brad Keselowski. You protect both lines here. Gotta be perfect on those moves though, Kirk. You do it too late, you get turned. You do it too early, you get freight trained.
I don't necessarily like the whole bobbing and weaving stuff. You know, it's what you got to do in modern racing. But I'll tell you what, whether or not that we're going to see that influence the end of this race when someone makes an aggressive block is a super high percentage chance. It's just, I think it's going to happen where somebody makes a bad block or something happens and it affects the outcome of the race. Just watch the rest of this thing and we'll see if it proves me right there towards the end.
Yeah, Conklin just maintaining up on the top side. Now goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Now goes up top again. Plays the line still with plenty to go for. Now Mesnard, remember, got bounced around early on. Now works his way forward on the bumper. Goes Root.
give that 58 some credit again. Week in and week out, that 58's been able to control the race. And today, he's had a lot of challengers. Roman, for example, the 83 of Benefiel, also were some drivers that were, contending with him up at the front. But now that those two cars have decided to try and save some gas, that 58 car still is just a standout driver, week in and week out. He had a chance to win in the last 4 weeks, every single week. And that 58 car leading the point standings and this race continuing with his dominating start to this year.
Conklin looking to really make up for the race win, obviously, here with the way things are shaping up. The last time Conklin went to victory lane was Bristol, by the way. To win at Darlington, he won at Phoenix early on in this one. Daytona was a nightmare to start off the season a bit for him with how things finished out there. They're showing speed there too. So once again, Conklin looking to show he is the best in this field this season while having to qualify his way in every race with the way the charter system works.
I think the qualifying part's not too difficult for him. I mean, they got quick cars over there, so I ain't too worried about it. We anticipate seeing him up in front at this point. He's no longer a rookie in my mind. Even though he's got those rookie bumper stickers, that ain't a rookie.
Now, right now, you see the push right into the bumper.
Broke the camera.
Again, you will have to say, as Casey Graves gets a push now, 4 cars pushing up middle.
You know who's been sitting right in the wings this whole time? Paul Hill. He's been sitting there at the cusp of a top 5, like right behind these guys. He's been there in the top 10 all day, but quiet, just waiting for his. I think he's just waiting for the right time. He's doing it differently, and I kind of like that.
Biding his time, if you will.
Yeah.
Look at Mesnard move up to the top again. Trying to work like slot cars, if you will, on the moves. That's Root. Not the greatest car, it seems, right now in terms of the lead. We'll have to see if he's able to find a little bit of help. Some cars need more pushes. Some are able to naturally flow their way to the front. It depends on where you are in terms of comfortability and the way the rake is worked on your setup. Root right now is getting that help to really start to get that bottom working again.
I'm thinking about the grand scheme of this race as we're coming to get 30 laps to go in this thing. And so far in this thing, that first stage stint before that first caution was the most entertaining racing I've seen at Talladega in a long time. 43 cars, 3 wide, nobody was really fuel saving. It was racing, 100%. And that was because they didn't have a caution to save them. They had to pit twice. And, maybe, hopefully one day in the real life world we can see that. And folks will realize throwing a caution at these stages is not the right idea.
A little bit of a weave, a little bit of a bobble for Root this time off the push. Looks like the inside line started to die off again. The speed of the Ryko cars staying together, really helping. Inside is actually checking up in amongst itself right now. How much is backing off? We still have 29 to go at the stripe. Still plenty to play for in regards to these drivers up front. You know who's also making their way through? You made drivers like William Owen, you mentioned him. Owen's already involved in a couple incidents tonight, had the brake issues with the pedal he talked about. That 30 machine is amongst those rolling on top. Root just cut to the top as well.
Trying to find a line to ride with. And that outside line up front is doing a good job of it, but Tanner Marty is leading that bottom line. And if you zoom out here, you're going to see that there's a long chain of cars behind this lead pack, all just saving gas, half throttle, quarter throttle, even in some cases, just chilling. This outside line is the only one that's pushing, and they're not even getting that huge of an advantage. Now, I'm just waiting for this moment that they turn on, they hit the switch where they hit their number or whatever, and then they can actually start racing. But right now, it's not racing. Up front, it is. You got to give these guys credit going for it. And I really appreciate anybody in this top 10 that chose to try and actually race it out instead of coast.
Yes, indeed. Right now the rumble is on as they go about. Conklin works himself even further ahead with 27 this time throughout the stripe. Everybody else makes their way down the back straight away as they get themselves situated. No one else willing to risk it. Now, knowing the fuel number game here and knowing this, some of the drivers who need to topped off are still down as low as 17th. Here's the part of the thought process that comes in next here. Are we going to start seeing pit stops here in the next few minutes with drivers topping off late?
They can pit at any time. Anybody who wants to come down, they sure can. I recommend they stay out as long as humanly possible, though, because these guys that are saving gas probably will make it, and they probably won't need to stop. And you kind of don't want to lose a lap, so you want to hold off on being a lap down as long as possible. So if you're up front and you're pushing, even though it's something I commend entirely, you're going to want to hold off pitting as long as possible.
You see just how much some of the drivers are really trying to think. Where do they want to run? Do they want to be up front? Do they want to control things? Root definitely wants to control this on the bottom. Mind you, a lot of those drivers he's working with have the same base setup. The Lunar machines, for example, do run a precision base. Munso's in the camp also. You have Owens, you have Marty, you have Mullins. Mesnard's a part of that group. So all of them are staying in sync at least, setup-wise, to say, we've got to outnumber the Ryko cars if we want a shot. Look at the run for Mesnard.
Can you imagine what the world would feel like if Evan Mesnard somehow were able to come away with a win here? That would change a lot in terms of perception and in terms of how he was able to handle it. I do root for that car. I hope he does well. And that 73, we don't get to see him up front that often. I always say root for an underdog. That's one of them.
Conklin outside, blocks things off yet again. Did his boy defense. As right now, Mesnard still trying to make sure there is no blend down back for the 58. Still double wide, multiple rows deep as we go about with under 25 now laps to go. Mind you, this lead pack, the train goes as far as 32nd, by the way. That's how deep this field has it. And amongst this pack, hearing Casey Graves starting to overheat at the front of the field. He's amongst those that are pushing hard amongst the sandwich.
Third car in line right there. He's going to probably think it best to go down to the bottom lane here in a second. Maybe that might be the right choice for him, but I'm not sure why they're not choosing to go down to the bottom, because the bottom lane, saving a lot of gas, I mean, you'd think it might actually be the right place to be, but no, these guys are chilling in the middle lane for some reason. And Conklin has refused to go down to the bottom. And I'm just so curious as to the purpose. Maybe there's a thing to it. They were able to hold on to the lead in top two. It just seems like there's maybe, so what our producer is saying is that there's a chance that they're able to get more air to the radiator running the middle instead of the bottom.
Yeah, you see that full lane right here. It gets the air to the bumper, gets it cooled down for the radiator, back to the bumper, does it in a way where it doesn't necessarily lose the momentum and cools off the motor instead of having to lift mid-corner.
Very cool. God, that's so smart. It is so smart.
Our move down to the inside, another cut back up to the outside, and our block off to the outside. Once again, Conklin playing the smart games right now late in this one. There they go back to the inside. There's the cool down. Gets the draft to Mesnard. Might be a lot of draft to the inside. Look how much that inside got helped actually by that time.
Quite a bit. 22 laps to go when they cross the stripe, and then not much has changed in terms of the complexion of the race up front in the last 10 laps. Still kind of got 2 lanes, couple cars jockeying for those spots up there in the front. But from Zodiac on back, every single car is saving a lot of gas right now trying to make it to the end of this race. Zodiac, I think, is like the first one that might be saving, might be pushing. He's kind of on the edge. But the 6-car Delaney absolutely is saving a lot.
Absolutely. You see Delaney amongst those still riding, hoping that there are some top-offs. You hear some of the drivers at the very least careful with their throttle input still back there. Here to some of the others that continue to ride high and hard on pace. 21 to go this time by. Some of the air storylines of note here. As we go up late. Or also plus the 22 here on this one with the charge up. Zodiac up 12. Some of the various bigger movers here. A plus 31 for Root and Brickley here tonight. The amount of fuel savers that are going to be 16th to 32nd here. Doing that caution dance, though, ready to see a lot of those bigger movers get shuffled in the next little bit. To the very least here, Kirk. We know a lot of the names. You have a full list of those that are in those team positions that are in that fuel save right now. All of those drivers are not willing to join this fray up front.
Not willing to race right now. No, they're biding their time. You know, can't blame them. It's the system, but you know, it's what you got to do. These cars up front, though, I think they're just going to have to hope for a caution. They're definitely going to probably need one. And if they can get one, I mean, that would very much help them. But when does these cars towards the back flip the switch? When they think they can make it. Because then they got to make a charge to the front. If you're running 28th right now, you can't get much ground whenever everybody comes down pit road. You got to flip a switch. You got to start making moves. So when does that flip get switched is the story right now.
I think everyone's quite simply going to think, what can they do to get up to the front? You got to think it's 10 to go. If you think you can make it is the main thing. If it's any later than that, it gets harder and harder the further back you go in terms of how much time you have to make a move.
I'm seeing a couple cars choose to go down to the bottom a little more often here from this outside line there. Mesnard, though, sitting right now, tail end of that outside line right before you get to that 3-car pack there. These guys really are going to be in a position where I don't think they're going to have enough gas to even come close to making it to the end here.
I don't know about this with the way things are going. I know Tanner Marty's at 31. You mentioned that number. Raymond Root's at 30. Those cars absolutely just thinking, somebody make a rough move without collecting me. Problem is, I don't think that's going to happen with the way things are shaping up late. The level of urgency, we mentioned expecting to pick up late. The later you go on that urgency slide up too, the more wild the moves too, and that will be one of those areas where we'll have to keep an eye on if someone makes that wrong move late.
One thing I gotta say is I'm glad yesterday in Friday Night Lights series we didn't have to deal with that. Everybody raced 100%. It was a lot more, energetic trying to get to the front. It was so difficult. You couldn't do it, most folks. If you were back here, back in the 30s, you couldn't make much moves to get to the front. It was so difficult. It was 3 wide for lanes and lanes and lanes coming to the end there. Right now we're stuck just 2 lines.
I was about to say, honestly, it looked to be in that situation where from initially the start of all this, you could argue absolutely it was a condition to be in that 100%. I think we've seen that 100% start to taper a little bit for some. Now that things have steadied in, the problem is some drivers are choosing the middle with all this. Some haven't been able to get to the top, to the front yet. You're from the bottom, and a majority of the others know with the circumstance they have to ride the yellow line. That's the better way to save gas compared to up top by a gallon or two.
Now, when do these front guys start sputtering? That's the question. I'm thinking about going and seeing if I can ask to a correspondent and find out. Looks like I'm getting right to 10. But
Yeah.
Not a lot of time here, man.
That's my thing is, Conklin, he's burned up a lot of gas just leading all these laps here. That's got to be a concern here. In his sake, he has not done any swapping around to save a bit. See, no one's been really willing to ride. If anything, Mason might be setting himself in a decent spot here because he's just riding behind, doesn't really have to do much here except let the draft sip away, help him a bit on his fuel mileage here.
With 14 laps to go, 13 and a half laps to go, this bottom lane, this entire front group, I think that oh my goodness, right there, you see Conklin jump down to the bottom. That's the first time I've seen that car jump down to the bottom all day long.
Yeah, you see that? Conklin starting to feel some footsteps here. Mesnard outside, nearly got on the fender. And now, here's the thing. Look who's now the helping instead. Gossett, or rather, the Gossett-backed Hodgson is going to instead be the pusher. So, you switch from one Ryko car to another one.
It's just a matter of time. But that 58 going to the bottom, I think, was a sign. I think that he knows that laps he has are numbered, but he goes right back up to the top trying to block the top line. He just wants to lead as many laps as he can. He's not, I don't know, that 73 Mesnard, though, is in a rough spot. He's getting squeezed right there between teammates. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, they kind of put him out to dry after that.
The drivers are reporting that they're dealing with damage like Matthew David Wood here. Evan Mesnard gets himself put well down the order. There goes all the help. That's the concern in terms of the moves. You make the run move. Guess what? You end up going with a royal flush, if you will. The Ryko cars are now 1, 2, 3. Now with Hodgson, turn around is Graves. Graves in the wall, we're under caution.
Well, let's take a look and see what happened to Casey Graves. I think I have an idea.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't happy about a block on the radio.
Looks fine. Not that big of a deal here. Oh my, yeah, that's... Man, that's bad. I hate to see that for Casey Graves.
Yeah, there was the block, but there is the other point. I think even if the block didn't happen, he was off. Billy Brickley was offset on his bumper.
Yeah, that's the part that caused the wreck. Yeah, like I thought it was like some sort of net code between the two. It didn't look good.
There was definitely them inside of each other there. Absolutely, that would have factored in too. So 3-pronged. And now, this is the caution that a lot of people needed to make it on gas. Now, green-white checkers is a whole different story now here, Kirk. Okay, yeah, Conklin's got to know where the pace car is.
He's clutching. He's saving gas doing this. It's actually really smart doing that. Unless, like, race control tells him to back off or whatever. But, yeah, completely off. It's a smart thing to do. Save every ounce of gas you need and do it under caution. Maybe he thinks if he stays out, he'll be able to make it. I don't know. Looking at the wreck again, though, I do got to mention that when that 12 car made the move to come up and block, Billy Brickley didn't see it. They were moving at the racetrack at the same speed, and when Billy Brickley when the 01 lifted to not hit the back bumper of the 12, the 00 was high enough on the racetrack to where when the 01 lifted, the 00 clipped him and just sent him up in the outside wall. It's a racing incident, but it's unfortunate that it happened at all. Saved the top group, though. Saved them, absolutely.
Here come the top-offs. And it looks like everybody, this is to make sure you can... Devin Medeiros did not pit. Couple others that, remember, went for that extra stop in to get fuel. They will jump up front, and this could become very eclectic for the end of this one. Right now, the race off pit road with the Ryko cars is 3 wide. Basin may get it. I don't know about which way that's going to go. I believe Conklin may have gotten it. That all came with the short distance on the bottom of the racetrack for Conklin over Basin and Hodgson. But are you ready for a wild one? Already heavy fuel save on the apron for everybody else, with 9 to go coming up.
Oh, boy. Strategy, man. It all comes down to a 10-lap dash. You're going to see these guys, some on the edge of their fuel tanks, going to run out, might cause a stack up. You never know. And some cars that are, on the hard charge, they're going to do all they can to get every spot they can. Some cars stayed out knowing they full well might not make it if they don't get an extra caution.
This is going to be nerve-wracking, I think is the understatement here. Medeiros, Delaney, Taylor, Lucas Hoytsma, Ralph Hutchinson, Bobby Anderson, Sean Conklin are the way the top 7 are sorted, with Basin, Hodgson, Drill in the top 10. Right now, you see the clutch and the coasting heavy for the 20. Not even fired up here, and Delaney trying to follow on behind here. Looks like at least one car doesn't feel like they can make it there. We just see a second top off in, but that's one of the drivers that was a lap down. That was Lim. That's gone on down. So they'll make sure they're good to go. They were 35 laps on a tank anyway. But the 20, who started this race from pit road, spent 90% of this race in the first stage and a half, if not 2 stages a lap down, all of a sudden is the man of the hour for a chaotic beginning of this final run to the end, possibly with an 8-lap dash to decide it. And the nervous thing, I think, for everyone is they still, even with this, have to go 43, 44 laps for those who are still on the racetrack who are risking it. If it goes to overtime at all, they will not make it.
Oh, boy. I'm getting excited, man. We're coming to the end. Any one of them can do it. Fuel's all over the place. Some guys hadn't been up front all day. Jedi Taylor, for example, won in Daytona. Chaotic finish there. Has a chance to do it again here today, sitting P3. Devin Medeiros hasn't won in a handful of years, and I'm sure he'd like to do that today as well.
So an 8-lap dash coming up here, and they are I don't know if they're even going to get up to speed properly for the start with the way they're rolling, some of them on the banking. They can't go on the apron right now anymore. They have to stay doubled up. Everyone watching with intrigue here with what is going to end up being one of the most chaotic runs of the season. 31 cars with a chance to win it from Talladega. The Intimidator 500 may very well come down to fumes for some and aggressiveness for the others. Most aggressive drivers are going to be those with the tanks for sure to make it. They'll be starting about 7th on back. To the restart zone we go. Medeiros gets the push from Taylor. Doesn't get a clean launch off. Delaney keeps even with him instead. With the way through the gears.
Yeah, Jedi Taylor's not on his back bumper like you'd expect. Now he is. Got a little bit of a push in the 19, so now Jedi has to push.
Who's the first to start a third line? There it goes on the outside line. It's Andrew Dyson who leads it. He's got help from Frombrum and a couple of Conti cars lining up on the outside. Delaney's got the better assistance from Lucas Hoitzma, who is a teammate. Same for Bobby Anderson. Taylor is the teammate to the drivers on the top line who are working together. Coming to 7 to go. Right now, Delaney gets himself clear. Lucas Hoitzma just got his rear end destroyed, so that bumper for the first time tonight on the rear end is crushed.
Seven and a half laps to go down the back when they get there. Mesnard goes up to the top. He takes Marty up with him and a few other cars. Oh, they go up into the outside wall. Contact. They're wrecking down the back straightaway. Huge hit to the inside wall. Cars heavy contact. Flipping down the back straightaway. Goes at one of them.
William Owens up and over down the middle of the backstretch.
Oh my goodness. That was a terrible flip.
Under yellow we go. That's going to help those who stayed out. Let's see this.
Oh, he hit the wall so hard. He came up the hill too quick. And just all the contact, and they came right down and right here. Slides on his roof. Oh. Flips right back onto his wheels. But that is a heavy hit to the inside wall, man. I'm glad it's a sim. So glad it's a sim.
Yeah, that really is going to sting for some. That was a massive squeeze and a half to try and cover up that top line in the first place. Mesnard able to keep it straight after all that chaos, though, at least. So, a lot of drivers, Gallimore, Kluon, many meatballs picked up there as a result of that caution. Remember we had so many incidents earlier we didn't have too many meatball flags? Well, one of them, William Owens, you got a meatball flag, damaged, I believe the words you said on the radio were, I damaged more than the steering wheel. What happened? That was a tight squeeze up to the top, wasn't it?
Very. We mistimed the jump up high. We had been trying the top of 3 all night, man, and we finally thought we were going to get it to work, and we just mistimed it looks like. So the Angry Birds, well, we managed to kill ourselves, it looks like. But yes, I don't think there's a single wheel still attached to the race car after that. The steering went dead the second I hit the wall. The flip was just icing on the cake.
Well, how would you describe overall the efforts in the first place to be in that position? Because I know some of the conversation when you were first up at the front was, is your brake pedal working?
Yeah, that's a fair assessment after what happened last night. Yes, the brake pedal is working properly. No glitches tonight. The effort, honestly, today was about me not causing any wrecks because the last few weeks have not been the greatest look. So that's I did achieve that goal. Just ended up getting taken out anyway.
So we are under 5 to go here on that note as drivers will go around the pace car, behind the pace car in our lap here. Your thoughts on Texas next week to try and improve upon what will end up being a DNF here tonight, which will put you into the 30s.
I'm going to have to survive Texas. I'm going to be honest. The reconfiguration is not my best track. In fact, as far as intermediates go, it's one of my worst. But Precision will give me a good set, I hope, and we'll try to make the race, and then we'll try to get a decent top 15, top 20 finish, and that's probably about the best I can hope for there. Honestly, not my strongest track.
Thank you very much for your time, William.
Thank you.
William Owens. Well, obviously he definitely said himself didn't get the judgment right. And it puts us under the caution flag. Kirk, right now, this is going to be chaotic again. 3 to go. I think this will at least get the drivers who stayed out okay-ish on gas for the regulation. Overtime, no.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be able to get there to the end. So this is helping those cars that stayed out. Drivers like Devin Medeiros, Jedi Taylor, these guys that stayed out, 6-car Delaney, saving as much as humanly possible right now. It's going to benefit them the most.
So keep in mind, too, Lucas Weitzman's rear end's destroyed. Bobby Anderson's rear end's destroyed. Some of these drivers, they were pushing so hard to get up through that field and up to the front that they have absolutely decimated their cars. Some of these drivers are going to be absolutely becoming a parachute. And all of a sudden, William Owens will be amongst those that are going to reset next week. But in all seriousness, though, as someone may get a chat ban on the radio, the field, I was going to say, might get interesting with a few drivers going to be dealing with heavy damage up at the front of the field with the rear end and the spoiler.
Now, you're right. Any amount of damage really throws off your chances of anybody wanting to push you, because that damage is like a parachute, like you said earlier. A parachute, you don't want to be pushing anybody that has that damage. The moment you see someone with damage, you get out of the way, try to make a move where they aren't. So it's going to be difficult for Hoytsma to be able to come back knowing that damage is there. But he's got a teammate around, a guy who's willing to help him. I think that's going to be something that's going to be worth mentioning.
So once again, to reset your top 10, it looks like this for a 3-lap dash for the Intimidator 500. Delaney and Hoytsma, Medeiros and Anderson, Taylor and Basin, Hutchinson and Trull, Conklin fell to 9th, and Hudson will start in 10th. I think Raymond Ridge just had a technical issue here too. That is going to be potentially bad. Oh, never mind, they just appeared. Raymond Ridge was about gone. Well, that nearly was bad for him. Instead, he will restart this race in 13th. So, do you have a pick, Kirk?
No. I really don't, Justin. I cannot tell you. I have some guys who I'd like to see win, but I cannot tell you who I think's going to. It is way too chaotic with 4 laps to go. These finishes, just anybody can win. Like, we could have a James Busher moment where a guy backing outside of the top 10 wins the race. You never know.
Here we go. Buckle up. 3 to go at the stripe. It's Delaney, last season's King of the Super Speedway champion, who leads them to green. He goes up top to join teammates. Right now, 3 black flag cars all in turn. Stay bumper to bumper as they'll ride their way in the middle of 1 and 2.
Look at Benefield go up to the top with Tyler Hunter, and I think a lot of folks are going to see that and move up to the 3rd lane. Trull goes up there, and a few more cars trying to do the same.
That includes Basin, who's now side drafting hard on Anderson. Now pulls back the 97, pulls back the 6. Now he's got the chance for the race lead. 2.5 laps to go. Basin not yet able to clear. Trull having the pushes of his race. He's going to the moon after all.
I've never seen this many cars locked bumper to bumper to bumper at Talladega Gonna be 4 wide. 83 sends it 4 wide. 12 car gets moved up out of the groove.
Oh, this is not good for Benefield. There's the push for Hodgson. There's the wreck in the pack. Caution flag is out. We're going to overtime. Hunter is involved, and we're under yellow as they are stacking up in the crash.
They stay green for a way long period of time. Oh boy. Gonna get an overtime finish. Oh no, Tyler Hunter. He kind of got squeezed on that 4 wide situation, and contact got him loose, and it went on from there. He tried to follow the 83 through, and contact from the 12 came down into the 48, got him unsettled, hit the 95, and goes around, and more cars spinning. And for like the third time oh gosh, Hastings almost made it. For the third time today, the 04 goes around and spins again, but somehow still has an incident point to save him and keep him going straight.
We did have one driver hit the incident limit. Neil Pearson is done for the night. Johnny Avila also left session right after the caution flag. And 163, there's the hits, and bye-bye. Porter at least didn't hit much. If anything, he just went for a full 360 and a half. The grass may have damaged more than anything.
Yeah, true. You know, you asked me who I thought was going to win the race. I said I didn't know. Now, I have a driver I'm willing to say I'm hoping he somehow wins this thing. If that 04 can somehow come back from getting involved in 3 wrecks and still win this race, I think that would be something miraculous. So, kind of rooting for the 04 a little bit, even though it's a long shot. I always like my long shots.
Meat ball for the 12 amongst those involved. Hodgson is having issues, and the field is saying behind him, we all have to go to pit road too. All this as well. Jonathan Delaney is the leader, believe. Then it's Basin and Lucas Hoitzma. I think if you're Delaney and Lucas Hoitzma, this is not good at all. Do you pit?
Yeah. You have to. You can't make it.
Or not.
Oh, you are kidding me.
Well, win the race or run out of gas. That seems to be the game plan now. That's your only card left. The rest of the deck is somewhere in a trash bin already.
I have a quote I think that applies to this from today's ARCA Series winner. He said a certain quote a handful of races back, and I'm just going to play it here for the world to hear.
Nope. I'm just going to put my foot on the floor, and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
He kind of did that today with the survival to get to the win in the very end. I know who you're talking about, Andy J.
Yeah, dude. Man. It was a fun race to watch. Happy for him, too, man. He's never won before, and so for me, I'm happy. I don't know whether the boos are necessary 100%, but I understand why.
I'm not going to get into that conversation here tonight. All I can say is that could have went a lot of different ways, that race, to say the very least, and it would have led to a lot of different ways of socials. But in all seriousness, though, this definitely going to have its own clicks here today for the run to the checker flag here. First on for sure good gas is Dylan Basin, by the way. Second, you have to go to Hunter Truex. The 71, the paint scheme that does have the 2 to moon scheme here tonight. He's ready to see if he's going to be able to make this car launch to the moon and land it in victory lane after going around it.
You know, sad truth of the matter is sending a car to the moon at Talladega is possible. Like, there's a glitch where you can have the tire go up into the wheel well and it sends you like 4,000 mile an hour straight up in the air. There's videos of that on YouTube's, but good Lord, this restart's going to be everything. And 6 cars still saving. Are they going to come down? I mean, you got to think about it. No. Gosh, you consider it. Looks like they're not going to. Oh, boy.
No, they're just saving as much as they can at this point. Short track the track. You know what would have been a plan? You know what I would have done?
What would you?
Would
have
it be
done?
illegal to cut through the grass to save fuel? Cut
No.
that part of the track?
No. Well, I mean, you're gonna get next, but no. But it actually is harder for the car to go through the grass, I think, because it'd slow you down more. So, you know, more distance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody experimented with that, but would I do it in a race? Hell no.
I mean, there are a lot of different things that can happen, but let's just say
I'd cut the backstretch. Like being on the apron, I'd go as much of a cut as you can. Like,
I don't think Bryson Hicksonbaugh is going to really let everyone go straight to the wall. Well, Delaney, I heard your conversation said, you know what, I'm going to test that
I
theory
told
for
you. Yeah, dude. Yeah, just go straight down. That's you cut most of the backstretch.
Does he have gas? I think he's got gas, but he's just going lower than everybody else. He's got to go up there for turn 3, though.
Well, no, out of turn 4. I mean, that's what I did in the officials. Anytime that we had saved gas, saving on the apron all the way through 3 and 4, out of turn 4 is when I got up on the racetrack. I don't know what the race control will do here. Nope, he goes up this time.
Yep, he has to come up.
Corner. Yeah, that actually was not a benefit to him, unfortunately.
So, are you ready for what's going to be one of the wildest finishes of the season? We're in green-white checker territory. This is the race for the win for the Intimidator 500. Delaney on fumes. Basin with fuel to make it. Hoytsma, Medeiros. 3 of those 4 are going to have to hope for no more green-white checkers if they want a chance to win it. Pace car is off. Will a majority of these drivers make it to the end even with the way this could go? Restart zone, green flag is out. The inside gets the jump for the black flag cars. Now, Drill on the push too. The 71 looking to become the first that is definitely good on the fuel tank, but no place to take the run. Look at all those shoves. Here we go. Jason S. Taylor trying to push them clear. Drill goes to the outside. They all move to the outside. It's 3 wide already.
16 trying to go up to the top, and everybody else is going to follow suit up there. 71's going to lead the outside line. Not for long.
Oh, the wrecking.
Good Lord. Big one again in turns 3 and 4.
Caution flag is out. We'll do this again. Yellow was called over the radio a few seconds before it did pop up at the pylons here, but Benefiel of note, one of those who took the hardest hit.
What a really, really good day gone bad for Adam Benefiel. His contact with Devin Medeiros. Take a look here. Bad push. Something happened to that 20 car.
Absolutely hammered as multiple DQs come on flying up. Dustin Hall, Bobby Anderson, Jose Medina, Tower Hunter, all in the DNF list. And somehow you got jettisoned from the sim.
Yeah, I hit the X on accident. Now there goes my race replay. I got to ask Bryson for a copy.
Let's see what Bobby Anderson did before he had an X up here next to him, the bad one. Just touched him.
Yeah, but yeah, you're not going to lift. It's 2 laps to go at Talladega. You don't lift. That's not in the dictionary.
And the meatball flags are piling up, by the way. Casey Graves still with 1. Wesley Napier still with 1. Dyso now with 1. Zodiac, William Owen still with 1. Chad Center, Oriwall gone. Klua already damaged. Hodgson last caution. Gallimore last caution. Oh, and there's already conversations on if this is legal. They're bump drafting on the bottom of the track, trying to help each other get to pit road, maybe.
What? Little bit of bump draft.
They've gotta come in, right? Right?
Nah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, Delaney's gonna risk it.
Oh, what is he doing? Oh, God. If he wins this race... oh...
I mean, this is his only chance. There are 15 available green and white checkers, remember, when it comes to unlimited iRacing. If we get that many green and white checkers, we might run out of time on the timer. So...
Where's Logano?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened in real life where we went, what, 30 laps past the distance in real life in Nashville, to the point where an entire field had to recycle for fuel. Zane Smith, did we win that race that day with his best run when he was running with Trackhouse? Still his best shot of the win yet. Right now, Benefiel, amongst the drivers that's indicated, by the way, for the crash we mentioned, who will stay on the track with the broken hood pin.
Yeah, that's the plan. That you know, you're not going to get a disqualification. At some point, you do, but I think he's going to be way off the pace. But he's passing all those cars that were involved in the wreck. When you get a meatball with like 2 laps to go, stay out if your car still runs.
He's not even meatballed right now. He's just got the damage.
Well,
yep.
Okay.
Believe it or not, that's not a meatball even.
Yeah, just hope it doesn't fly up.
If that happens to him, I think people are going to just fall into laughter. But Delaney, really risking it. Also, trying to risk it, Jason S. Taylor and Ralph Hutchinson. And yes, Benefiel, we know there's no meatball. Now, we'll find out how this goes to see if anyone else adds a meatball here.
There might be a piece of debris on a racetrack. I don't know. In the next lap or two, when we get to green, golly, it's just... That 6 car does not want to see any extra laps. He wants it to go green now.
So everybody scattered about on fuel strategy. We've gone to 31 cars with a chance to win it with 8 to go on the restart, 22 on the lead lap.
Maybe like 15 of them that can win.
Realistically. Oh no, Delaney might be out. There he goes. Delaney. No, he's not. He's just going to cut the entire apron.
Well, yeah. If I was out, I don't think I'd just turn down out of the way like that. But no, he's going to cut as much as he can.
Oh, he's at 60. He's able to hit the gas.
There's a quote from the 2008 Michigan race. Whenever Dale Jr. saved enough gas to win at Michigan, Kyle Petty, I think it was, said that no, it wasn't Kyle, it was somebody else. It's put up or shut up. And today he might be able to put it up. We'll see if he's able to get enough fuel saved to be able to win this race. I don't know. It's going to be close. But I'm getting that vibe, But also it could be 2012 Coke 600, where you run out of gas coming to the final corner. You never know. Anything could happen, man.
So right now, the field in position to sort itself here. It's Delaney trying to hold on massive fumes. Very likely might not make it. Some of these drivers really close. Taylor in the same boat. Hutchinson in the same boat. All of them lead the inside line. Can they get the power down? Basin is the first that definitely is in a spot where they can at least make a few of these GWCs with the top off. Coming up to 2 laps to go. They'll make their way to the restart zone. The green is out. We're backing away. Delaney got the jump. Benefiel's already dropped to the apron with the issue. Benefield says his hood pins popped up. He cannot see.
Told you that could happen. All right, now up front. How much fuel do they have? Ralph Hutchinson tries to go up. Middle lane now blocked off. Bottom line, Vroman.
Now who gets the chance to build this run? Hutchinson stays in the bumper. Taylor stays in the bumper. All of them stay on each other's bumpers. When will Basin pull the pin to go? If we get to the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. Right now, the top three all hoping and praying for their fuel tanks. Basin going for the lead. He's got the run for third. 1 to go for the Intimidator 500. Here comes the run for the outside. Going to be Conklin pushing Basin. Remember, Basin was the one who stayed on the track in front of Conklin with the tires last time. Now, Basin will get assistance from Conklin down the back straightaway. A block for Delaney. Taylor to the inside. Troll gets contact. They crash behind him. It's a 3-car race to the win. Delaney on the outside. Basin on the bumper. Now, Conklin looking for a place to go also. Here comes the cut. The first block. The second block. The cut in. It's Dylan Basin going to the point. He will take the win for the Intimidator 500.
Wow. That was something right there. First win of the season for Dylan Basin, man. That's cool.
Dylan Basin coming away with the win with 20 laps led on the night. Gets the all-critical one. So we've seen a lot of people crash in the corner. 46 1,000s was the distance.
You watch the 19 here, Ralph Hutchinson. He's going to get turned here after some contact. Very minimal. Yeah, the 26 trying to send it 4 wide. There was no hole there. And, yeah, a lot of cars wrecked there. And a lot of cars with good days. Billy Brickley, by the way, had a hell of a day. Just did not turn out his way there at the end. Teammates working together to cross that line together. I mean, you couldn't ride it any other way. He's about to come to the start-finish line, and he's about to burn it on down here in Dega.
First win in this series. The FLCC welcomes another new winner. It's Dylan Basin here tonight. Just his 3rd time in the top 5 this season. Last chance he had, Bristol. He was 2nd at Bristol Motor Speedway, remember that night, where he averaged a top 2 on the racetrack that evening. He gets it done at Dega.
I got too many clips of this guy going through the middle, 3 wide. Man, just so cool that he's able to come out with a win, too. That was wild.
So it's Dylan Basin who gets the victory tonight over Jonathan Delaney by 46 1,000s. And it comes with the help of Sean Conklin tonight. Matthew David Wood gets up to 4th with Vroman in the top 5. Hill, Drool in the top 7. Reiner finishes in 8th. Lucas Hoitzma and Cody Porter amongst your top 10 tonight.
11th tonight, Tanner Marty. Great job for him. Thomas Kulmacheski came back from being multiple laps down. Brandon Hastings, 13th, 14th. Raymond Root. You see most of these guys got involved in the wreck there on that last lap. You got Devin Medeiros there in 15th. Stephen Williams in 16th. Adam Benefield, last car on the lead lap, 17th. Jedi Taylor in 18th. 19th will be Ralph Hutchinson, and Billy Brickley rounds out 20th place.
21st goes the way of Corey Moore. Evan Mesnard 1 lap down also in 22nd. 2 down for Cliff Mullins. 3 down for Lemon Anderson with 6 laps down 25th. Same for Hall. 6 down. Dyson along with Hunter. Then Hudson and Medina were 9 down apiece. They finished 29th, 30th.
Avila, Owen, Zosiak, Kluot, Gallimore, Pearson, Graves, Hoitzma, Napier, and Tucker round out from down to 40th, and 41st and 43rd. Duggar, Kleinman, and Sanner round out your runners today. And today's winner, Dylan Basin, he's going to be sitting right here with Justin.
Yes, indeed. It's a trip to virtual victory lane tonight in the FLCC. Dylan, how does it feel to get the win here in the FLCC?
Well, first of all, the claps are funny. Yeah, I didn't think Dago would be my first win this season. You know, I thought tracks like Kansas or Bristol would be my best shots at it, but Talladega, here we are. Everything just went right. Crazy race. I mean, I felt like I was all over the place. Crazy saves, going from the back to the front. That ending was honestly, I don't even know what really happened. I just never crossed the line first. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. Just glad to get a win so far, and I think in what is it, the King of the Super Speedway points, I should help out a lot there too. So, yeah, Talladega.
What was the game plan for that final restart? Because it seemed you and Conklin were both on the same page, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was gonna ever be able to get to me on the third lane. I kind of just took it myself because I was like, I can't just sit here in line behind three like teammates or guys that are working together and into the last lap. Like I just made my move early, and luckily he was able to get the draft up to me, and we just barely kept enough speed to stay on their outside. And then yeah, once they all wrecked going into 3, it was 2-on-1. We just knew like all we had to do was just stay linked up, and I'll admit, Delaney did a good job blocking that first run that we had, but you couldn't stop the second one. And with Sean pushing me, I mean, it was awesome teamwork. I feel like the whole race, him, me, and Nolan were just probably the best team out there up front. So I'm glad we were able to stick together at the end.
So on that note here, you get your first win now in this series. How do you feel about your chances to try and do it at Texas for your second one?
Well, Texas is probably my best mile and a half. And then, with a lot of effort that me and others are doing for Road to Pro and stuff, we're going to have a lot of seat time for it. So I feel like we should be honestly pretty good for next week. And I don't think Sean will be there, unfortunately. So I'll try to take the helm over for him. Yeah, I should be, hopefully we can go back to back.
So on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Well, first of all, Sean gets the first shout out today. He was the reason I won that race. Everybody at Rocket Performance, all the sponsors, Mobile One and Napa and Best One Tire, Randy Bell Construction, Gossip Bus Lines, all those guys. And thanks to you guys for sitting in the broadcast booth and doing these races for us. And thanks to the league owners for putting this stuff up.
Congratulations on your first win in the FLCC tonight, Dylan.
Thank you.
Dylan Basin gets the job done tonight for the victory. Second spot tonight, Jonathan Delaney somehow makes it on gas. He's with Kirk.
My goodness, man. We were up here shaking in our boots, seeing you staying out there at the end while your teammate came down pit road. Well, I was for sure you were going to run out of gas, man. How'd you do it? And just came up one spot short. You had a couple teammates you had to deal with, but just go over your whole day for us. Tell us about it.
Yeah, very stressful one. We started off the race absolutely terrible. We put ourselves in a pretty bad situation. We were in a pretty bad bind that we got very, very lucky with the caution coming out, the first caution. Me and Casey were going to go 2 laps down there in the first 40 laps of the race, and that was not going to be good. But yeah, caution came out. We were able to get back on the lead lap, and from then on out, we were just trying to, keep the main pack, stay out of the wrecks, and ultimately be in the right position for the end of the race. And we were there. We were in the right position at the end of the race. We kind of knew it was going to kind of come down to a fuel situation, just with how early that caution came out in the last stage. The caution coming out for within 5 laps of the stage, so we were gonna have a longer last stage, and it was very borderline on whether or not we were gonna make it, and we had to save just a little bit, and we were able to save just enough to make it for those 2 green white checkers we had. But yeah, coming across the checkered, I had like 0.1 tenths of a gallon um, left. So we were cutting it very close, but we knew we had enough. It was just gonna be very tight. But yeah, shout out to Logan Sheets for helping with all the fuel calculations and strategy and all that stuff. He's always great with numbers and that type of stuff. And he had no worries or doubt that we are gonna be able to make it for that last green white checkered. So shout out to him. Yeah, going that last lap, kind of lost all my help going into 3 there. Both my teammates wrecked, and then it was a 1v2 situation coming out of 4, 2 teammates behind me, and there's only so much you can do. You can only block so much without wrecking yourself or anybody else. So I just couldn't get it done. And but cool. I'm happy with the P2. Ultimately you want the win, but it was good points night. I didn't get very many stage points, but yeah, it was a good race, and we'll be moving on to Texas next week, I believe. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. And man, it was fun watching you there at the end. It definitely put me at the edge of my seat. And thanks again so much for talking with us. And yeah, we'll see you next week in Texas, my man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That was Jonathan Delaney. Back to you, Justin.
Yes, indeed. And I believe Sean Conk was looking at the film just now on how things closed up with Dylan Basin. Sean, another top 5 for the books. This time it's helping Dylan Basin. Talk us through that approach from your perspective for how you guys were trying to game plan that win.
Yeah, that was fantastic points, especially with the 2 stage wins. Um, even getting lucky there with those cautions. Yeah, I hate to say it, but there really was no game plan. It's just you just gotta find your teammate and go. And it was really hard to find my teammate that was first 2 green white checkered attempts. I couldn't get up. I was stuck on the bottom. I kept going backward and backward every restart. But the more cautions we got, some people had to pit, some people got wrecked on the outside of me, and we kind of advanced our back through the rows that way. But yeah, there really wasn't any game plan. Just try to get up to the top, find my teammate, and just push them from there.
Absolutely. And overall, I'm curious on your thoughts on this. Do you feel there was a difference with the longer first stage in terms of how the race went with the shorter 2 stages to end compared to it being vice versa?
Um, the long first 2 stages were fun. Or the long first stage I meant were fun. And the short two stage, I mean, I get the premise of it, but I think they need to be a little shorter because it just turned into a fuel saving race, which is exactly what it wasn't supposed to be. So that was kind of unfortunate. We got lucky with the caution. We didn't want to go away from our plan. I mean, we stayed up at the front and tried to control the race all race, and it worked out for us. And there was no point in switching it up and try to go to the back and save. It worked out for some, obviously, but just didn't want to take that chance. We were hoping on that caution and got lucky. It came out, and we were able to stay up there and have a lot of extra fuel there at the end to go along with it.
How do you feel? Well, actually, I'll rephrase that statement because, from my understanding, you're not going to be there at Texas.
No, I will not be at Texas. I will be doing some real life racing up in Connecticut. So we're gonna miss that race, which is why I'm especially happy that we got a lot of points here tonight, so we can afford to miss one, but I think uh, I think we won't miss one for a while after that.
Where are you racing at, by the way?
We're staying at the Pomfret Speedway in Connecticut.
Nicely done. Good luck there. But anyone you want to give a shout out to for tonight's top 3?
Just want to shout out Basin. We were working together that entire race. Nolan and Alan Duggar. Just there was a lot of times that we were all just right up next to each other, and every time that we got together, we went to the front. I mean, there was very little times in this race that we were in the back. Um, another another big part of that is our setup and Ryko performance. I mean, just just able to carve through even with no help on the top, and that really helped us, especially with this package with how dominant the middle lane is. So yeah, that was a big help. All sponsors on the car, Gossip Bus Lines, Rennie Bell Construction, Best One Tire, and that's about it.
Congratulations on the run tonight.
Thank you.
John Conklin rounds out our top three, like thinking top three for Speakerless during post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Your final thoughts on the Intimidator 500 tonight, Kirk, as in the end, Basin gets a first win, and it comes down in the end, despite the attempts in real life from NASCAR, to a fuel mileage race anyway.
Yeah, of course it was. At the end of the day, I still got to experience a little bit of what it felt like back in the day. I appreciate the first stage. That first stage, being able to see folks just go from the green, not worry about when a caution was going to come out, have the 2 pit stops. You know, that was what I enjoyed when I was growing up as a kid. And I hope one day we get to see it again without any, automatic planned caution. Carl Edwards would say it best that it just breaks it up into 3 races.
So on that note, next time at Wigo Racing will be at Texas Motor Speedway. Be sure to tune in next week. We start off the month of May here on Maconi Entertainment, the FLCC. On that note, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's coverage. For Morgan Cook, for Kirk Mills, and Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Be sure to follow Maconi Entertainment on social media so you don't miss a race here on the network. And hope to see you next time for Texas. Once again, congratulations to Dylan Mason, your winner from Talladega. Good night from Dega.
Want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.